Welcome to Monk's Tales. Tonight, you will discover a powerful secret that Buddhist monks have used for centuries to quiet the restless mind and find deep, meaningful rest. I am going to share with you a series of remarkable Zen stories that have helped countless people finally silence their racing thoughts and drift into the most peaceful sleep of their lives. Each story contains a hidden key that unlocks your mind's natural ability to let go of stress and worry. And here is what makes this different from ordinary sleep meditation. These teachings work even if you have never meditated before, even if your mind feels like a storm that will not break, even if you have tried everything else without success. The Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." In the coming hours, you will discover exactly what this means and how to apply it to your own life. As we journey together through tales of empty boats, wise monks, and unexpected wisdom, you will notice something amazing happening within you. Your tension will begin to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Your thoughts will start to slow down, losing their urgency and weight. You will find yourself naturally sinking into a state of profound relaxation. So, if you are ready to leave the burdens of the day behind, I invite you to subscribe to Monk's Tales and join our community of seekers finding peace in a chaotic world. Now, make yourself completely comfortable. Adjust your pillow until it supports your head perfectly. Pull the blankets up to your chin if that feels good. Let your body become heavy against the bed. Allow the mattress to rise up to support every inch of your spine. Take one deep, slow breath with me now. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs with cool, calming air, and hold it for just a moment. And now, exhale slowly, letting all the air rush out. As you exhale, know that you've just taken the first step on a journey that has been waiting for you since the beginning of time. Allow your eyes to close gently. There is nothing you need to see right now. There is nowhere you need to be. There is nothing you need to achieve. This time is just for you. Let your attention drift to the top of your head. Imagine a warm, golden light resting there, soothing and gentle. Feel this light slowly beginning to flow down, like warm honey, over your forehead, smoothing out any lines of worry. Let it flow over your eyelids, making them feel heavy and relaxed. Let it flow down your cheeks, relaxing your jaw. Let your tongue rest gently on the floor of your mouth. Feel this wave of relaxation moving down your neck and into your shoulders. We carry so much weight in our shoulders. The weight of responsibilities, the weight of the past, the weight of tomorrow. But right now, you can set it all down. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let them sink deeper into the mattress. Feel the tension melting away, flowing down through your arms, past your elbows, down to your wrists, and out through your fingertips. Your arms feel heavy and limp, resting peacefully by your sides. Now, bring your awareness to your chest and your heart center. With each breath you take, imagine your heart opening slightly, releasing any tightness or constriction. Breathe into this space. Feel your rib cage expanding and contracting effortlessly. There is no need to control your breath. Just let your body breathe itself. It knows exactly what to do. Allow that wave of relaxation to travel down your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, softening the muscles of your back. Let go of any holding in your lower back. Feel your hips releasing, opening, and relaxing. Let the warmth travel down through your thighs, your knees, your calves, and your ankles. Finally, let it flow all the way to the tips of your toes. Your entire body is now bathed in a sensation of heaviness and warmth. You are safe. You are supported. You are ready to receive the wisdom of the ages. Let us begin with our first story. It takes place by a peaceful river, where a profound lesson about the nature of our reactions awaits us. This is the story of the empty boat. There once was a man who loved to row his boat on a peaceful, winding river. He was not a monk, nor was he a saint. He was a man just like you or me, seeking a few moments of quiet in a busy life. He found great joy in drifting along the water, enjoying the calm and solitude of nature. Every evening, as the sun was setting and the world was bathed in golden light, he would take his small wooden boat out for a quiet journey. The water would turn a deep amber color, reflecting the dying light of the day. The only sounds were the gentle lapping of water against the hull and the rhythmic dip of his oars. On one such evening, he was paddling softly, relishing the tranquility. The air was cool and crisp. The birds were singing their final songs before nightfall. He closed his eyes for a moment, breathing in the scent of pine and water lilies. He felt completely at peace, entirely at one with the world. But then, as he opened his eyes, he noticed something in the distance. Another boat was coming down the river, and it was heading directly toward him. At first, he was not worried. The river was wide, and there was plenty of room for both of them. He assumed the other boat would steer clear. He called out politely, "Be careful, pull to the right." But the boat did not change course. It continued to drift steadily in his direction. The man felt a flicker of annoyance. Why was the other person not paying attention? He rowed a little harder, trying to get out of the way, but the current was strong, and the other boat seemed to be moving faster now. "Hey, watch out," he yelled, his voice echoing across the water. Still, the boat continued on its collision course, silent and relentless. Now, the annoyance blossomed into anger. Who was this careless fool? How dare they ruin his peaceful evening? He stood up in his boat, waving his arms. "Move aside, you are going to crash into me," he shouted. His heart began to race, his fists clenched. His peaceful evening was suddenly filled with frustration as he watched the approaching boat with mounting anxiety. He prepared himself for the impact. He was ready to scream at the stranger. He was ready to unleash all his fury on this incompetent, disrespectful person who had dared to interrupt his meditation. The wooden hull of the other boat loomed large, and then, thud, the boats collided. The man's boat rocked violently. He grabbed the sides to steady himself, his face red with rage, his mouth open to shout a string of insults. But when he looked closely at the other boat, his words died in his throat. He froze. The boat was empty. There was no one inside. There was no careless rower. There was no enemy. It was simply an old, weathered boat that had come untethered from a dock upstream. It was just drifting, carried by the current, obeying the laws of nature. In that moment, the man's anger dissolved instantly. It vanished as if it had never existed. He sat back down, feeling foolish. He had been screaming at an empty boat. He had been ready to fight a battle that did not exist. What had changed? The situation had not changed. The boats had still collided. His peace had still been disturbed. What changed was his understanding. There was no intention behind the collision. No carelessness, no malice, no disrespect to fuel his anger. It was just an event happening in the flow of time. The Buddha once said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." This profound truth reveals itself perfectly in this story. Our anger, frustration, and resentment often arise not from events themselves, but from the stories we create about the intentions behind those events. We take things personally. We assume that the universe, or the people in it, are out to get us. In Zen Buddhism, this reactivity stems from our ego clinging. It comes from our deep-seated attachment to a separate self that must be constantly defended and validated. When someone cuts us off in traffic, our ego screams, "How dare they disrespect me?" We create a villain. We create a narrative where we are the victim. But in truth, most of the time, we are colliding with empty boats. Consider how often throughout your day you encounter these empty boats, situations where you attribute harmful intent where none exists. The driver who cuts you off might be rushing to the hospital to see a dying relative. That is an empty boat. The co-worker who did not say hello might be lost in thought about a personal crisis. That is an empty boat. The friend who has not replied to your text message might be overwhelmed with work or struggling with depression. That is also an empty boat. Yet, our mind quickly fills these empty vessels with our own insecurities and judgments. Tonight, as you lie here, safe and warm, think about the empty boats you encountered today. Did you get angry at a situation that was simply drifting on the current of life? Can you see now that there was no one steering the boat to hurt you? Can you feel the relief of letting that anger go? Just as the man on the river laughed at his own foolishness and rode on with a lighter heart, you too can release the heavy burden of taking things personally. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine yourself back on that river. The water is calm again. The empty boat has drifted past you and disappeared around the bend. You are alone once more, with the sunset and the silence. The water supports you. The current guides you. You are flowing effortlessly toward a place of deep, restorative sleep. The night is long, and we have many more stories to explore. But for now, just rest in the knowledge that you do not need to fight the current. You do not need to steer constantly. Sometimes, it is enough to just let go and drift. As the river of your mind continues to flow gently downstream, carrying away the empty boat of your past frustrations, let yourself drift deeper into this feeling of stillness. You are safe here. You are warm. The current of relaxation is moving you slowly toward a place of perfect rest. There is no rush to get there. The journey itself is the destination. Now, let us leave the river behind for a moment and travel in our imagination to a different landscape. Picture a majestic mountain range, ancient and serene, rising high above the clouds. The air here is thin and pure. The scent of pine and damp earth fills your senses. It is quiet here, a silence so deep you can almost hear the heartbeat of the earth itself. In this setting, our second story unfolds. This is a story about finding peace not by escaping danger, but by finding beauty right in the midst of it. This is the tale of the monk and the tiger. Once upon a time, in a quiet mountain monastery nestled deep in an ancient forest, there lived a monk known for his gentle spirit. He was a man who sought truth in the silence of the woods. Every day, he would take long, solitary walks, meditating on the rhythm of nature. He loved the way the sunlight filtered through the canopy of leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. He loved the sound of the wind whispering through the branches, telling secrets that only the trees could understand. One afternoon, as he walked along a narrow, winding path on the edge of a steep cliff, his peaceful meditation was shattered. From the shadows of the underbrush, a low growl vibrated through the air. The monk froze. He turned slowly, and there, emerging from the thicket, was a massive tiger. Its fur was bright orange and black, its eyes burning with a fierce intensity. It was hungry, it was hunting, and it had found its prey. The monk, realizing the danger, turned and ran. He ran with all his might, his robes fluttering in the wind, his sandals slapping against the stone path. The tiger sprang after him, a blur of power and speed. The monk reached the edge of a high cliff. He looked back. The tiger was closing in, its breath hot, its paws thundering against the earth. There was nowhere to go but down. Desperate, the monk spotted a thick vine growing over the edge of the precipice. Without a second thought, he grabbed the vine and swung himself over the side, just as the tiger's jaws snapped shut on empty air. He dangled there, suspended over the abyss. He gasped for breath, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. He looked up. The tiger peered over the edge, growling in frustration, pacing back and forth, waiting for him to climb back up. The monk looked down, hoping to find a ledge or a safe place to drop. But what he saw made his situation even more dire. Far below, at the base of the cliff, another tiger had arrived. It was looking up, licking its lips, waiting for him to fall. He was trapped. There was a tiger above, representing the certain death of the past he could not return to. And there was a tiger below, representing the inevitable death of the future that waited for him. He hung there, suspended in the fragile space between life and death, holding onto a single vine, which was his only lifeline. As he hung there, his arms beginning to ache, he noticed something. 2 small mice, one white and one black, scurried out of a crevice in the rock. They began to gnaw on the vine he was holding. The white mouse represented the day, and the black mouse represented the night. Slowly, steadily, they were eating away the moments of his life. It seemed like a hopeless situation. Fear threatened to consume him completely. Panic tried to seize his mind. But then, in that moment of absolute extremity, the monk saw something else. Growing out of a crack in the cliff face, right within reach of his hand, was a small wild strawberry plant. And dangling from it was a single, perfect, red strawberry. It glistened in the sunlight, ripe and plump. In that moment, the monk made a choice. He realized that worrying about the tiger above would not save him. He realized that fearing the tiger below would not help him. He realized that fretting about the mice gnawing at his lifeline would only ruin the moments he had left. He let go of the past. He let go of the future. He brought his entire awareness, his entire being, into the glorious, immediate present. Holding onto the vine with one hand, he reached out with the other and plucked the strawberry. He brought it to his lips. He bit into it. It was the sweetest, most delicious strawberry he had ever tasted. He closed his eyes and savored the flavor, the burst of sweetness on his tongue, the cool juice, the texture of the fruit. In that split second, there were no tigers, there were no mice, there was no cliff, there was only the strawberry, there was only the pure, unadulterated joy of being alive in that exact moment. He smiled, a genuine smile of delight, completely absorbed in the miracle of the now. The story ends there. We do not know if he was rescued or if he fell. But in the Zen tradition, that does not matter. What matters is that he conquered his fear. He found liberation not by changing his circumstances, but by changing his relationship to the present moment. This story reveals a profound truth about our human condition. We all spend our lives suspended between 2 tigers. The tiger above is our past, the regrets, the mistakes, the traumas we cannot change. We run from them, but they are always there, peering over the edge of our memory. The tiger below is our future, the uncertainties, the fears of aging, of loss, of death. We look down and tremble at what might happen. And meanwhile, the mice of day and night gnaw at our time. We are all hanging by a vine that will eventually give way. This is the reality of human existence. But, and this is the most important, but, in the world, right here, right now, within your reach, there is always a strawberry. The strawberry represents the sweetness of the present moment. It is the only thing we truly have. It is the only place where life actually happens. The past is a ghost. The future is a dream. Only this moment is real. When we are lying in bed at night, unable to sleep, we are often like the monk before he found the strawberry. We are looking up at the tiger of yesterday, replaying conversations, analyzing what we did wrong, or we are looking down at the tiger of tomorrow, worrying about meetings, bills, health, the what-ifs. We are hanging on the vine, tense and terrified, missing the only thing that matters. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. So, tonight, I invite you to find your strawberry. You do not need to be hanging off a cliff to find it. It is right here. It is hidden in the ordinary. What is the strawberry for you right now? Maybe it is the feeling of the soft pillow against your cheek, cool and smooth. Focus on that sensation. Savor it like the monk savored the fruit. Let it be the only thing in your universe. Maybe it is the warmth of the blanket wrapped around your legs. Feel that warmth, protecting you, holding you. That is a strawberry. Maybe it is the simple, rhythmic sound of your own breath. Inhale and exhale. The breath is a miracle. It keeps you alive without you having to do anything. It is a constant gift. Savor the feeling of the air filling your lungs. Savor the release as you let it go. When you focus on the strawberry, the tigers fade away. They lose their power over you. The racing thoughts about tomorrow, the regrets about yesterday, they cannot exist in the same space as true presence. When you are fully tasting the strawberry, you cannot be afraid. Let us practice this together for a moment. I want you to scan your immediate experience for something pleasant. It can be very small. It can be the absence of pain in your little toe. It can be the faint sound of the wind outside. It can be the feeling of relaxation spreading through your hands. Find that one small point of pleasure or peace. Focus your attention on it. Isolate it. Magnify it. Breathe into it. Imagine that this sensation is expanding, growing sweeter and richer with every second. Let it fill your mind. Let it push out the shadows. You are safe here. You are alive. You are breathing. And that is enough. In this moment, everything is perfect just as it is. The monk smiled on the cliff because he understood the secret. Happiness does not depend on the absence of tigers. Happiness depends on the ability to taste the strawberry. Peace is not the absence of trouble. Peace is the presence of the moment. As you continue to lie there, let this wisdom sink deep into your subconscious mind. You do not need to solve tomorrow's problems tonight. You do not need to fix yesterday's mistakes tonight. You only need to be here. You only need to taste the sweetness of rest. The vine is strong enough to hold you for now. The tigers can wait. The mice can wait. Right now, there is only rest. There is only the soft darkness behind your eyelids. There is only the gentle rise and fall of your chest. You are drifting, floating, lighter and lighter. The taste of the strawberry lingers in your mind, a reminder that life is sweet even in the midst of uncertainty. Drifting deeper now, feeling the heaviness in your limbs turning into a comfortable numbness. The mountain fades, the forest fades. You are returning to your own inner sanctuary, a place where nothing can harm you, a place of absolute stillness. Allow yourself to sink into the mattress, deeper and deeper. Let go of the vine. You do not need to hold on anymore. You can fall, not into the jaws of the tiger, but into the soft, welcoming arms of sleep. Sleep is the ultimate letting go. It is the ultimate act of trust, trusting that you will wake up refreshed, trusting that the world will keep turning without your supervision, trusting that it is safe to close your eyes. Rest now, dear friend. Find your strawberry in the silence, and let the sweetness carry you away. As you continue to float in this space of timeless comfort, let the image of the cliff and the strawberry gently dissolve. Let it fade into the mist of your mind, replaced by a deep, velvet darkness that wraps around you like a soft, heavy quilt. You are sinking deeper now, past the layer of dreams, toward the very center of your being. Your breath is becoming slower, more rhythmic, like the tide rolling in and out on a calm shore. In and out. There is no effort. There is only the natural rise and fall of life moving through you. Now, let your imagination carry you to a different place. Imagine a peaceful forest clearing in ancient India. It is late afternoon. The heat of the day has broken, and a cool breeze is rustling through the leaves of the great Bodhi trees. The air smells of jasmine and sandalwood. Sunlight, dapples the ground through the canopy, creating a mosaic of light and shadow. In the center of this clearing sits the Buddha. He is surrounded by his disciples, men and women who have left behind their worldly lives to seek the truth. They sit in silence, their faces calm, their postures relaxed. But even in this sanctuary of peace, the human mind still struggles. One disciple, a young man with a furrowed brow, looks troubled. He shifts uneasily. He cannot find comfort. Finally, he speaks. "Master," he asks, his voice trembling slightly, "why is life so full of suffering? I try to meditate. I try to be good. But pain still finds me. Sadness still finds me. Misfortune still knocks at my door. How can I find peace when the world is so full of sharp edges?" The Buddha looks at him with infinite compassion. His eyes are like deep pools of still water. He does not dismiss the young man's pain. He nods slowly, acknowledging the truth of it. "Let me ask you a question," the Buddha says softly. "Imagine a man walking through the forest. Suddenly a stray arrow flies from the trees and strikes him in the arm. It pierces his skin. It bleeds. It burns with a sharp, stinging pain. Tell me, does this man feel pain?" The disciple nods. "Yes, Master. Of course, the arrow has pierced his flesh. He must feel terrible pain." The Buddha continues. "Now, imagine that, immediately after being struck by the first arrow, a second arrow flies from the trees and strikes him in the exact same spot. It drives the first arrow deeper. It tears the wound open further. Tell me, would this not increase his pain 100-fold? The disciple shudders. "Yes, Master. To be struck once is terrible. But to be struck twice in the same wound, that would be unbearable agony." The Buddha smiles gently. "This," he says, "is the nature of human suffering. In life, we cannot always control the first arrow. The first arrow represents the inevitable pains of existence. We have physical bodies, so we will experience sickness, injury, and old age. We live in a world of change, so we will experience loss, separation, and disappointment. People will speak harsh words, plans will fail. It rains when we want sun. We lose things we cherish. These are the first arrows. They are part of the deal of being alive. No one, not even a king, not even a Buddha, can escape the first arrow. But," the Buddha leans forward, his voice dropping to a whisper that the wind carries to every ear. "The second arrow is different. The second arrow is the arrow we shoot at ourselves. The first arrow is the pain itself. The second arrow is our reaction to the pain. When we are sick, that is the first arrow. But when we lie in bed thinking, 'Why is this happening to me? I hate this. I will never get better. I am so weak,' that is the second arrow. We add anger, fear, and self-pity to the physical discomfort. When someone insults us, that is the first arrow. It stings for a moment. But when we replay that insult in our minds for days, obsessing over it, plotting our revenge, feeling worthless, we are shooting ourselves with the second arrow, over and over again. The first arrow is unavoidable. The second arrow is optional. The Buddha taught that most of our suffering does not come from the initial event, but from our resistance to it. We take a single moment of pain, and we turn it into a lifetime of suffering. We tell ourselves stories about the pain. We judge it. We fight it. And in doing so, we drive the arrow deeper. Tonight, as you lie here in the safety of your room, I want you to look gently at the arrows you might be carrying. Perhaps you are feeling some physical discomfort in your body right now, maybe a sore back, a headache, or just the restlessness of legs that want to move. That sensation, raw and simple, is the first arrow. It is just a signal from your nerves. It is neutral. But notice, are you shooting a second arrow? Are you frustrated with your body? Are you angry that you cannot get comfortable? Are you worrying that this pain means something is wrong? That mental tension, that resistance, is the second arrow. Imagine, just for a moment, that you could simply feel the sensation without the story. You feel the tightness, but you do not judge it. You treat it like a cloud passing in the sky. You do not try to push it away. You do not try to hold on to it. You simply acknowledge it. There is a sensation here. When you stop shooting the second arrow, a miracle happens. The pain changes. It loses its sharp emotional edge. It becomes just a feeling, a vibration in the body. It becomes bearable. It softens. Perhaps your first arrow is not physical. Perhaps it is the fact that you are awake right now when you want to be asleep. The first arrow is simply wakefulness. You are lying in bed. Your eyes are open or closed. That is all. It is a neutral fact. But how often we shoot the second arrow at insomnia. We look at the clock. We calculate how many hours we have left before the alarm rings. We tell ourselves, I am going to be so tired tomorrow. I will fail at my job. I am broken. Why can't I just sleep like a normal person? That anxiety, that fear, that judgment, that is a quiver full of second arrows. And every time you think those thoughts, you are shooting yourself again. You are creating a battlefield in your own bed. What if, right now, you decided to put the bow down? Imagine yourself in that forest clearing with the Buddha. You are holding a bow. You are tense, ready to fire that second arrow of judgment at yourself. Look at the bow in your hands. Feel the tension in the string. Now, slowly, gently, lower your hands. Let the tension leave the string. Let the arrow drop to the forest floor. You do not need it. Say to yourself, it is okay to be awake. Say to yourself, it is okay to feel what I am feeling. Say to yourself, I am safe. When you drop the second arrow, you stop fighting with reality. You stop fighting with yourself. And when the fight ends, peace begins. The first arrow might still be there. The world might still be imperfect. But you are no longer adding to the pain. You are no longer your own enemy. Visualize the second arrows dissolving into smoke. The anger, the worry, the should-haves and could-haves, they are all drifting away like grey smoke into the night sky. You are left only with the present moment. And the present moment, stripped of our judgments, is usually quite peaceful. It is just the feeling of the sheets. It is just the sound of my voice. It is just the air moving in and out of your nostrils. The disciple in the story looked at the Buddha and understood. He realized that he had been causing his own suffering. He realized that while he could not control the world, he could control his own mind. He could choose not to pick up the bow. He took a deep breath, and for the first time in years, his shoulders dropped, his face softened. He felt the pain of his life, but he no longer suffered from it. He was free, and you are free too. You have the power to stop the second arrow right now. Scan your mind one last time. Is there any resistance left? Is there any voice saying this shouldn't be happening? If you find it, simply smile at it. That is just an old habit. It is just an echo. You do not have to listen to it. Breathe into the spaces where the arrows used to be. Imagine healing golden light filling those spaces, soothing the wounds, mending the spirit. You are whole. You are intact. You are learning the deepest wisdom of the ages, right here in your bed. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And tonight, you are choosing peace. You are choosing to let the first arrow be just a sensation, passing through you like a ripple on a pond, disturbing nothing deep down. The water returns to stillness. The surface becomes glass again, reflecting the moon and the stars. You are that still water, deep, dark, and calm. Nothing can truly hurt you here. As we move toward the next story, hold this feeling of release. Hold the feeling of putting down the weapon of judgment. Your hands are open. Your heart is open. You are defenseless. And in that defenselessness, you are completely safe, drifting, floating, sinking deeper into the mattress. The forest clearing fades, leaving only the comfort of the darkness. You are ready to go deeper still. As the echoes of the last story fade into the velvet silence, allow your mind to settle even further. You have put down the second arrow. You have chosen peace over resistance, and now you are lighter. You are drifting like a leaf on a slow-moving stream, supported by the water, carried effortlessly toward the ocean of sleep. But sometimes, the heart carries burdens that feel too heavy to simply put down. Sometimes, we are faced with losses that seem impossible to bear. Tonight, we will journey to a dusty village in ancient India to witness a story of profound healing. This is the parable of the mustard seed. It is a story not just about death, but about the incredible power of shared humanity to heal our deepest wounds. Imagine a small, sun-drenched village. The earth is warm and dry. The air is filled with the scent of spices and the sound of distant temple bells. In this village lived a young woman named Kisa Gotami. She was gentle and kind, with eyes that held the sparkle of youth. Her life was simple, but it was filled with a joy that felt boundless. She had married a good man, and together they had been blessed with a beautiful baby boy. This child was her entire world. He was the sun that warmed her days and the moon that lit her nights. She watched him grow with a heart bursting with love, marveling at his first smile, his first laugh, his tiny hands grasping her finger. For Kisa, happiness was not an abstract concept. It was right there in her arms. But life, as the teachings remind us, is a river that is always changing. One tragic day, a sudden illness swept through the village. It struck swiftly and without mercy. Kisa's beloved son fell ill. She sat by his bedside day and night, cooling his forehead, whispering prayers, willing her own life force into his small body. But despite her desperate love, the child's breathing grew shallow. And then, it stopped. The silence that followed was louder than any scream. Kisa Gotami could not accept it. Her mind simply refused to process the reality of this loss. It was too cruel. It was too sudden. Denial, like a thick fog, descended upon her. She picked up the lifeless body of her son and held him tight against her chest. She began to wander through the village, her eyes wide and unseeing, her hair disheveled. She went from door to door, knocking frantically. When people answered, she would hold out her child and plead, "Please, do you have any medicine for my son? He is just sleeping. I know he is just sleeping. Please help him wake up." The villagers looked at her with pity. They saw the truth that she could not see. "We cannot help you, Kisa," they said gently. "The child is gone." But she would not listen. She pushed past them, running to the next house, and the next, and the next. Her grief was a wild thing, a storm that refused to break. Finally, an old man, seeing her suffering and knowing he could not cure the child, suggested a different path. "Go to the Buddha," he told her. "He is the awakened one. If anyone has the medicine you seek, it is he." Hope, bright and desperate, flared in Kisa's heart. She ran to the grove where the Buddha was teaching. She fell to her knees before him, placing her son at his feet. Her tears watered the dry earth. "Master," she choked out, "please, give me the medicine that will cure my boy." The Buddha looked at her. He did not speak of death. He did not offer empty platitudes. He looked at her with a compassion so vast it seemed to hold the sorrow of the entire world. He saw that she was not ready for lectures on impermanence. She needed to discover the truth for herself. "I can help you," the Buddha said softly. "But first, you must bring me a single ingredient for the medicine." "Anything," Kisa cried. "I will get anything. Bring me a mustard seed," the Buddha said. "But It must come from a house where no one has ever died. It must come from a family that has never lost a father, a mother, a child, or a friend. Kisa Gotami's heart soared. A mustard seed. That was such a simple request. Every household in the village had a jar of mustard seeds in their kitchen. It was a common spice. She thanked the Buddha profusely and ran back toward the village, convinced that her son's salvation was at hand. She reached the first house, a large home with a well-tended garden. She knocked on the heavy wooden door. A woman answered. "Do you have a mustard seed?" Kisa asked breathlessly. "The Buddha needs it to cure my son." "Of course," the woman said, smiling kindly. She turned to go inside to fetch it. "Wait," Kisa called out, remembering the condition. "Has anyone died in this house? Has this family ever known loss?" The woman stopped. Her smile faded, replaced by a look of deep sadness. "Oh, my dear," she whispered. "The living are few, but the dead are many. Just last year we lost my grandfather, and before him, my husband's brother." Kisa's face fell. "Then I cannot take your seed," she said quietly. She turned and went to the next house. "Please," she asked the young man who opened the door. "I need a mustard seed from a house that has never known death." The man looked down, his eyes filling with tears. "You have come to the wrong place," he said. "We buried my sister only a month ago. The pain is still fresh in our hearts." Kisa moved on. She went to the house of the wealthy merchant. Surely, with all his gold, he could protect his family from death. But the merchant told her of the wife he had lost to fever. She went to the house of the poor weaver. He told her of the parents who had passed away in his youth. House after house, door after door, the story was the same. She met widows and widowers. She met orphans. She met parents who had stood exactly where she was standing now. Every threshold she crossed, she found grief. The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the dusty streets. Kisa Gotami stood at the edge of the village, exhausted. She had visited every home. She had looked into the eyes of hundreds of people, and in every pair of eyes, she had seen a reflection of her own sorrow. She looked down at the mustard seeds she had not collected, and suddenly, the fog of denial lifted. She realized she had been looking for something that did not exist. She had been looking for a life untouched by loss. She had thought her grief was a punishment, a solitary curse that only she had to bear. She thought she was the only one in the dark. But as the evening lights began to flicker on in the village houses, one by one she saw the truth. Each light represented a family, and each family had known loss. Death was not a thief that had singled her out. Death was a visitor that came to all. It was the natural shadow cast by the light of life. In that moment of realization, the tightness in her chest began to loosen. She was not alone. Her pain was not unique. It was part of the vast, shared ocean of human experience. She was connected to every person in that village by the invisible thread of grief. She carried her son's body to the cremation grounds and laid him to rest with dignity and love. Then, she returned to the Buddha. Her hands were empty, but her eyes were clear. "Did you find the mustard seed?" the Buddha asked gently. "No, Master," Kisa replied. Her voice was steady now. "I could not find a house that death has not visited. The seed does not exist." "And what have you learned?" he asked. "I have learned," she said, "that I am not alone. I thought I was the only one suffering, and it broke me. But now I see that grief is the price we pay for love. It belongs to everyone. And because it belongs to everyone, I can bear my share." The Buddha nodded. "You have found the truth, Kisa. The medicine you needed was not for the child, it was for you. When we fight against the river of impermanence, we drown. When we accept that the river must flow, that flowers must fade, that day must turn to night, we can finally float." Kisa Gotami found peace that night, not because she got what she wanted, but because she understood what was true. She found comfort in the fellowship of suffering, the profound knowledge that she was held in the arms of a compassionate universe where everyone walks the same path. Tonight, dear friend, let this story be a balm for your own heart. We all carry losses. Maybe you are grieving a person, a relationship, a time in your life that has passed, or a dream that did not come true. We often hide these losses in the dark corners of our hearts, thinking we must be strong, thinking we must carry them alone. We look at other people and think, they are happy, they have it all figured out. Why am I the only one struggling? But remember Kisa's journey. Behind every door, there is a story. Behind every smile, there is a memory of something lost. You are not isolated in your feelings. You are part of the great human family. Imagine, just for a moment, that you can see invisible threads of light connecting you to millions of other souls around the world who are feeling exactly what you are feeling right now. Millions of people are lying in bed, needing rest, needing comfort, carrying their own invisible burdens. You are breathing together. You are resting together. You do not have to carry the weight of the world by yourself. You can set it down. You can let the collective strength of humanity support you. Acceptance does not mean you do not care. It does not mean the loss did not matter. It simply means you are no longer fighting the reality of it. You are opening your hand. You are letting the river flow. Imagine your grief, your worry, your sadness as a handful of mustard seeds. You have been clenching them tight in your fist, afraid to let go. Your hand is tired. Your arm is aching. Now, in the safety of this night, slowly open your fingers. Let the seeds fall. Watch them drift away on the wind, returning to the earth. Let them go. Feel the space opening up in your heart. It is a space of quiet, a space of rest. The struggle is over. The village is sleeping now. The lights are out. Kisa is resting. The Buddha is resting. And it is time for you to rest too. You are safe in the flow of life. Nothing is permanent. Not even this long night. Not even this tiredness. Morning will come. The sun will rise again. But for now, the darkness is a friend. It wraps around you like a soft blanket, hiding nothing, demanding nothing. Sink deeper into this shared peace. Let the boundaries of your separate self soften. You are not a drop of water fighting to stay separate from the ocean. You are the ocean, vast, deep, and eternal. Drift on these waters. Let the story of the mustard seed remind you that you are never, ever alone. Going deeper now, letting the images fade, leaving only the sensation of profound, heavy relaxation. Your body is asleep. Your mind is free. As we leave the village of Kisa Gotami behind, let the feeling of connection remain, but allow the scenery of your mind to shift once again. We are traveling now to a place of rustic simplicity, a landscape of rolling green hills, vast open skies, and the quiet, steady rhythm of the seasons. Imagine a small, humble farm nestled in a valley. The air here smells of fresh hay and turned earth. The only sounds are the wind sighing through the tall grass and the distant, comforting low of cattle. It is a place where time seems to move slower, where the frantic pace of the world falls away, leaving only the essential truth of nature. In this peaceful setting lives the subject of our next story. This is the tale of the farmer and the horse, a story that holds the secret to finding unshakable balance in a chaotic world. Once upon a time, in this quiet valley, lived an old farmer. He was a man of few words, with a face weathered by the sun and eyes that held the calm steadiness of a deep lake. He worked hard, rising with the dawn and resting with the dusk. He was poor in material wealth, owning only a small plot of land and a single, magnificent stallion. This horse was his pride, a strong creature with a coat that shone like polished copper. It was his companion, his helper, and his most valuable possession. One morning, a summer storm rolled through the valley. Thunder shook the ground, and lightning split the sky. In the chaos, the gate to the corral was blown open. The stallion, frightened by the noise, bolted. It galloped away into the wild hills, disappearing into the mist. When the storm passed, the neighbors came to see the farmer. They saw the broken gate. They saw the empty corral. Their faces fell with pity. "Oh, what terrible luck," they cried. "Your only horse is gone. How will you plow your fields? How will you carry your crops to market? This is a disaster. You are ruined." The old farmer leaned on his hoe. He looked at the empty corral. Then he looked at his neighbors. He did not cry. He did not curse the storm. He simply shrugged his shoulders and said one word: "Maybe." The neighbors were confused. "Maybe," they whispered to each other. "The old man must be in shock. Clearly, this is a tragedy." They shook their heads and went home, leaving him alone with his loss. A week passed. The farmer continued his work, tilling the soil by hand, calm and steady. Then, one evening, a thundering sound echoed through the valley. Dust rose in the distance. The farmer looked up to see his stallion returning. But he was not alone. He had found a herd of wild horses in the mountains, 12 strong, spirited mares and stallions. They followed him right through the open gate into the farmer's corral. The farmer quietly closed the gate. The news spread like wildfire. The neighbors rushed back, their eyes wide with envy and excitement. "Unwavering miracle," they exclaimed. "You lost one horse, and now you have 13. You are the richest man in the village. What incredible luck. You are truly blessed." The farmer looked at the prancing horses. He looked at the neighbors. His expression did not change. He did not celebrate. He did not boast. He simply said, "Maybe." The neighbors were baffled again. How can he not see? They wondered. This is obviously the best thing that could have happened. A few days later, the farmer's only son, a strapping young man who helped him in the fields, decided to tame one of the wild horses. He mounted a fierce mare, trying to break her in, but the horse bucked violently, throwing the boy to the stony ground. The sound of the bones snapping was loud in the quiet air. The boy's leg was broken in 3 places. He would be bedridden for months, unable to walk, unable to work. The harvest was approaching, and the farmer was now alone to do the labor of 2 men. The neighbors returned, shaking their heads in sorrow. "What terrible luck," they said, wringing their hands. "Your son is crippled just when you need him most. The extra horses are useless without a rider. This is a curse. Truly, you are cursed." The farmer tended to his son's leg. He wiped the boy's brow. He looked at the neighbors with that same infinite patience. "Maybe," he said. A week later, a cloud of dust appeared on the horizon, but this time it was not horses. It was the king's army. A war had broken out with a neighboring kingdom, a brutal and bloody conflict. The soldiers marched into the village, conscripting every able-bodied young man to fight on the front lines. Mothers wept, fathers begged, but the soldiers took them all, dragging them away from their homes. They came to the farmer's house. They saw the son lying in bed, his leg encased in a heavy splint. He could not walk, let alone march. The soldiers moved on, leaving him behind. Every other young man in the village was taken. Most would never return, but the farmer's son, because of his terrible accident, was safe. The neighbors, weeping for their lost sons, came to the farmer's window. "You were right," they sobbed. "Your son's broken leg was a blessing in disguise. Our sons are gone, but yours is safe. What good luck you have." And the farmer, wise and grounded as the earth itself, simply smiled and said, "Maybe. This story, my friend, is the ultimate medicine for an anxious mind." The Buddha taught, "Do not judge by appearances, find the truth behind all form. The farmer understood this. He understood that life is an endless chain of events. We only see one link in the chain at a time. We label that link good or bad, disaster or miracle. But we do not see the whole chain. We do not know where the link leads. When you lie in bed at night, unable to sleep, it is often because you are judging the events of your life. You think, I didn't get that promotion. This is a disaster. You think, my relationship ended. My life is over. You think, I made a mistake today. I am a failure. You are like the neighbors. You are reacting to the immediate moment, panicking because you think you know the end of the story, but you don't. No one does. The promotion you lost might have led to a job that made you miserable. Not getting it might be the bad luck that saves you. The relationship ending might clear the space for you to find your true soulmate. The mistake you made might teach you the lesson that leads to your greatest success. The wisdom of the farmer is the wisdom of the word maybe. Maybe is a shield. It protects you from the emotional roller coaster. When something bad happens, instead of spiraling into despair, you say, maybe. Let's see where this goes. When something good happens, instead of getting attached and fearful of losing it, you say, maybe. Let's enjoy it while it is here. Tonight, I invite you to bring the spirit of the farmer into your bedroom. Think about the thing that is worrying you the most right now. The thing that is keeping you awake. Is it a financial worry? A health concern? A conflict with a friend? Visualize that worry as a wild horse running away from you. The neighbors in your mind are screaming, disaster, terrible luck. Now, imagine the old farmer standing next to you. He puts a hand on your shoulder. He looks at the situation calmly, and he whispers to you, maybe it is not a disaster. Maybe it is just a change. Maybe it is leading you somewhere you cannot see yet. Maybe, just maybe, it is exactly what needs to happen. Feel the tension leaving your chest as you accept the maybe. You do not have to know the future. You do not have to control the outcome. You just have to tend your fields today. You just have to rest tonight. Release the need to label your life. Release the need to judge your day as good or bad. It was just a day. Events happened. The story is still being written, and the author of the universe has a much bigger imagination than we do. Let yourself float on the river of maybe. It is a gentle river. It does not rush. It winds through the valleys of your life, carrying you safely through the storms and the sunshine alike. You are safe in the uncertainty. Uncertainty does not mean danger. Uncertainty just means possibility. It means the future is open. As you sink deeper into the mattress, imagine that you are the farmer sitting on his porch at twilight. The work is done. The horses are grazing quietly. The sun is sleeping. The world is at peace. You are watching the stars come out one by one. You are not excited. You are not depressed. You are simply present. You are witnessing the flow of life with a quiet heart. Breathe in that stability. Breathe out the drama. Breathe in trust. Breathe out judgment. Maybe you whisper to the darkness, and the darkness whispers back, rest now. We will see what tomorrow brings. Drifting deeper and deeper. The farm fades into the mist. The story fades. Only the feeling of peace remains. A peace that does not depend on good luck or bad luck. A peace that comes from deep acceptance of whatever is. You are unshakable. You are calm. You are asleep. As the wisdom of the farmer settles into the soil of your mind, let us continue our journey deeper into the landscape of peace. You are leaving the valley now, floating gently on the breeze, moving toward a lush, green forest, where the trees are so old their roots are like the bones of the earth. Here, the air is cool and fragrant with the scent of moss and rain. The light is soft, filtered through thousands of leaves, creating a sanctuary of shadows and emerald light. It is a place where time stands still, a place where the noise of the world cannot reach you. In the heart of this forest, we find the setting for our next story. It is a tale that holds the secret to emotional freedom. It teaches us the art of becoming unshakable, of finding a stillness so deep that no storm can disturb it. This is the story of the Buddha and the angry man. Imagine the Buddha sitting quietly beneath the spreading branches of a great Bodhi tree. He is not doing anything. He is simply sitting. His eyes are half closed. His breathing is invisible. He radiates a calm that seems to affect everything around him. The birds sing more sweetly near him. The wind blows more arguably. Even the wild animals seem to pause and rest in his presence. But not everyone found peace in the Buddha's stillness. There was a man in a nearby village who was consumed by fire. This fire was not made of wood or coal, but of jealousy and anger. He heard people praising the Buddha, speaking of his wisdom and his kindness, and for reasons he could not even explain to himself, this made him furious. His own life was filled with conflict and unhappiness, and seeing someone so at peace felt like an insult. He decided he would shatter that peace. He would go to the forest and insult the Buddha. He would make the master lose his temper. He would prove that this enlightened one was just a fraud, no better than anyone else. The man stormed into the clearing. His face was red. His fists were clenched so tight his knuckles were white. He marched up to where the Buddha sat and began to unleash a torrent of abuse. He shouted insults. He called the Buddha a fool, a fake, a lazy beggar who misled the people. He poured out all the poison that had been brewing in his heart. His voice echoed through the quiet forest, startling the birds. He screamed until his throat was raw. He waited for the reaction. He waited for the Buddha to frown. He waited for him to shout back, to defend himself, to get angry. But the Buddha did not move. He did not open his eyes fully. He simply sat there, grounded and immovable as a mountain. He looked at the angry man not with fear and not with anger, but with a mild, curious compassion. It was as if he was watching a small child having a tantrum or a storm passing over a lake. He was present, but he was not involved. The man was baffled. His anger, finding no resistance, began to turn into confusion. It is exhausting to shout at a wall. It is exhausting to fight someone who refuses to fight back. Eventually, the man ran out of words. He stood there, panting, his chest heaving, sweat dripping down his forehead. The silence returned to the forest, deeper and more profound than before. Finally, the man whispered, his voice trembling with frustration. "Why do you not answer me? Why are you not angry? Do you not hear what I said to you?" The Buddha opened his eyes completely. They were clear and bright. He smiled, a gentle, genuine smile. "Tell me," the Buddha said, his voice soft as falling leaves. "If you buy a gift for someone and you wrap it beautifully and you bring it to them, but they refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man was taken aback. He blinked. "Well," he stammered, "if they do not take it, I suppose the gift would still belong to me. I would have to keep it." "Exactly," the Buddha nodded. "And so it is with your anger," the Buddha continued. "You came here today bearing a gift of insults, a gift of hatred, a gift of rage. But I do not accept this gift. I decline it. I leave it with you. So, tell me, who does the anger belong to now?" The man stood frozen. The realization hit him like a thunderbolt. He looked down at his own hands. He could feel the heat still burning in his chest. He realized that by holding on to this anger, he was the only one suffering. The Buddha was cool and refreshed. The Buddha was untouched. But he, the angry man, was burning up from the inside out. The Buddha spoke again. sharing a truth that has echoed through the centuries. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. The man fell to his knees. The fire in his heart went out, replaced by tears of shame and relief. He bowed to the master. "Forgive me," he wept. "Teach me how to put down the coal." "There is nothing to forgive," the Buddha said. "The fire is out. Now sit, breathe, and be free." This story holds a powerful key for your sleep tonight. How often do we lay awake, holding on to hot coals? Maybe someone was rude to you at work today. Maybe a family member said something thoughtless. Maybe you read something on the news that made you angry. You are lying in bed, replaying the argument. You are thinking of what you should have said. You are feeling the injustice of it. Your heart is beating fast. Your body is tense. You are holding the gift. You accepted the package. You signed for the delivery of negativity, and now you are unwrapping it in your bedroom, letting it fill your sanctuary with toxic fumes. But remember the Buddha's question. If I do not accept it, to whom does it belong? Tonight, you have the power to refuse the gift. Imagine that the stress, the drama, the negativity of the day is a package sitting outside your bedroom door. It is wrapped in dark paper. It is heavy. It is smoking slightly, like a hot coal. You have a choice. You can open the door, bring it inside, and hold it against your chest all night while you try to sleep. Or you can leave it right where it is. You can say, "No, thank you. I am not accepting deliveries at this time. I am closed for business. I am resting." Visualize yourself walking away from the door. Visualize yourself lying down on this soft bed, empty-handed. Your hands are cool. Your heart is cool. You have refused the coal, and because you refused it, you are not burned. Let the anger belong to the person who created it. It is their burden, not yours. Let the stress belong to the situation. It does not need to live in your body. You are the mountain. You are the deep lake. The storms may rage on the surface, people may shout, the world may be chaotic, but deep down, in the center of who you are, there is a place that cannot be touched. Feel that stillness spreading through you now. It starts in your belly, a warm, golden sensation of total non-reactivity. It spreads up to your heart, soothing any old burns. It spreads to your throat, relaxing the need to speak or defend. It spreads to your mind, quieting the need to be right. You do not need to win the argument tonight. You do not need to prove anything. You only need to rest. Letting go of anger is the greatest act of self-care. It is not about letting the other person off the hook. It is about letting yourself off the hook. It is about saying, "My peace is more important than your chaos." Breathe in the cool air of the forest. Imagine you are sitting under that Bodhi tree next to the Buddha. You are protected by a shield of calmness. The insults of the world are like arrows turning into flowers as they approach you. They fall harmlessly at your feet. You are untouchable. You are safe. As the image of the angry man fades, reflect on your own day. Is there any gift you accidentally accepted? Any comment you took personally? Any irritation you are still carrying? Visualize it as a heavy stone in your hand. Feel its weight. Acknowledge it. And now, simply open your fingers. Let it roll away. Let it fall into the deep grass of the forest floor. It is gone. You are light again. The forest is quiet. The leaves are rustling gently, singing you a lullaby. The Buddha is smiling, his eyes closed in meditation, and you are drifting into that same profound silence. There is no one to fight. There is nothing to defend. There is only this moment. There is only this breath. There is only this peace. Sleep is coming now, like a gentle tide rising to meet you. It washes over your feet, your legs, your hips, your chest. It covers you in a blanket of tranquility. You are free. You are resting. You are refusing the cold and choosing the cool, refreshing water of sleep. As the forest of the angry man fades into the mist, let yourself drift to a new location in your mind. Imagine a small wooden hut perched on the edge of a mountain. Outside, a gentle rain is falling. You can hear the soft, rhythmic tapping of raindrops against the roof. It is a sound of pure comfort, a natural lullaby that wraps you in safety. Inside the hut, it is warm. A small fire crackles in the hearth, casting a soft orange glow on the wooden walls. The air is filled with the earthy, comforting scent of brewing tea. Sitting by the fire is an old Zen master. He is preparing tea for his students. His movements are slow and deliberate, a dance of mindfulness. This setting brings us to our next story. It is a story about a simple object, a teacup. But within it lies the secret to overcoming the fear of loss. This is the story of the teacup is already broken. The master picked up a beautiful, fragile antique cup. It was exquisite, with delicate blue patterns painted on white porcelain. He held it in his hands with great care, feeling its warmth, admiring its form. He turned to his students and said, "I love this cup. It holds the tea perfectly. The sun reflects off its sides so beautifully. It is a treasure to me." He paused, looking deeply at the cup, and then said something that shocked his students. "But to me, this cup is already broken." The students were confused. "Master," one asked, "what do you mean? The cup is whole. It is perfect. It is right there in your hand." The master smiled gently. "Yes, right now it is whole, but in my mind, I understand its nature. I know that one day, my elbow might brush against it and knock it to the floor, or it might slip from my fingers, or time itself will crack it. Its breaking is inevitable. It is the destiny of all things made of clay." He continued, "Because I understand that it is already broken, I do not cling to it. I do not worry about protecting it every second. And when that day comes, when it finally falls and shatters into pieces, I will not be angry. I will not be devastated. I will simply say, 'Ah, of course, it has returned to the earth, because I have accepted its end.' I can truly enjoy it right now. Every sip of tea is a miracle, because I know it will not last forever." This teaching, known as impermanence, is often misunderstood. People think it is sad. They think it means we should not care about things because they will end. But the master was teaching the exact opposite. He was teaching that because things end, they are infinitely precious. The reason we suffer, the reason we lie awake at night filled with anxiety, is because we are trying to freeze time. We are trying to keep things exactly as they are. We want our bodies to stay young forever. We want our relationships to never change. We want our children to stay safe in our arms. We want our lives to be predictable. We are holding on to the cup, terrified that it might break, and that fear stops us from enjoying the tea. We are so busy worrying about the future loss that we miss the present joy. Tonight, think about the teacups you are holding on to so tightly. Maybe it is your career. You are worried about losing your status or your job. Maybe it is a relationship. You are worried about conflict or drifting apart. Maybe it is just the day itself. You are trying to hold on to the productivity, the control, the feeling of being on top of things. Imagine the Zen master sitting beside you. He places a hand on your shoulder and whispers, "It is already broken." This does not mean you give up. It means you relax your grip. The career will change, eventually. The relationship will evolve, eventually. This day, this very day you are clinging to, is already over. It is gone. It has broken against the shore of the night, and that is okay. When you accept that you cannot keep things forever, a huge weight lifts off your chest. You do not have to be the guard at the gate of your life. fighting off change. You can just be the witness. You can just be the experiencer. Because the cup is already broken, you don't have to be afraid of breaking it. You are free to just drink the tea. You are free to just live. Apply this to your sleep right now. Sometimes we fight sleep because it feels like a little death. It is a letting go of control. It is a letting go of the me that is running the show. We are afraid to put the cup down. But tonight, practice the wisdom of the broken cup. Say to yourself, "This day is done. I cannot keep it. I release it." Say to yourself, "My control is an illusion. I release it." Imagine you are holding a beautiful cup filled with the worries of the day. Now, in your imagination, simply open your hands. Let the cup fall. Watch it shatter into a million tiny sparks of light. It is gone. You do not have to carry it anymore. Feel the relief washing over you. The struggle to hold it all together is over. You can fall apart. You can soften. You can dissolve into the mattress. The only thing that is not broken, the only thing that never changes, is the awareness that is listening to my voice right now. The witness behind your eyes. That part of you is eternal. It is the sky that holds the clouds. The clouds come and go, they break apart and reform, but the sky remains. You are the sky. You are not the cup. Rest in that vast, open awareness. The rain outside the hut is still falling, tapping gently, tapping, tapping. The fire is warm. The master is sipping his tea in silence. And you are safe. You are floating in a river of time, but you are not afraid of the current anymore. You know that flowing is what water does. You know that changing is what life does. Let go of the shore. Let go of the branch. Let go of the cup. Drift. Deep. Restful. Healing sleep is the only thing that matters now. The past is a broken cup. The future is clay not yet formed. There is only this moment. Warm, dark, silent. Allow your body to become heavy, sinking down, down, down. Your breathing is slow and steady. Your mind is clear and empty. You are at peace with the changing nature of the world. Good night to the cup. Good night to the day. Good night to the worry. Welcome to the rest that waits for you. As the rain gently fades from the mountain hut, let your awareness expand once again. You are traveling lighter now, having left behind the broken cup of your worries. You are floating on a cloud of tranquility, moving softly through the landscape of your inner world. We arrive now in a bustling village in ancient India, though in your mind's eye, it is viewed from a distance, like a silent movie. You can see the colors of the market, the vibrant spices, the shimmering silks, but the noise does not reach you. You are in a bubble of peace. In this village, our next story unfolds. It is a tale about the true nature of giving, and how letting go of what we think is valuable can bring us the greatest comfort of all. This is the story of the Buddha and the robe. Imagine a wealthy merchant. He was a man who had everything money could buy. His home was a palace. His fingers were covered in rings. He was used to the finest things in life. One day, hearing that the Buddha was passing through his town, the merchant decided to pay his respects. But he did not want to go empty-handed. He wanted to make a grand gesture, something that would show his piety and his status. He went to the finest weaver in the land and commissioned a robe. It was not just any robe. It was spun from the rarest silk, soft as a cloud and strong as water. It was embroidered with threads of real gold that caught the sunlight and danced. It was a masterpiece, a garment fit for a king. The merchant carried this robe to the grove where the Buddha sat. He walked proudly, imagining how pleased the master would be. He imagined the other monks looking at him with admiration. He approached the Buddha, bowed low, and presented the shimmering cloth. "Master," he said, "please accept this humble gift. It is the finest silk in the world, woven to honor your greatness." The Buddha looked at the robe. Then he looked at the merchant. He saw the man's heart. He saw the pride there. But he also saw a genuine desire to be good. The Buddha smiled, but he did not reach out to take the robe. "It is indeed beautiful," the Buddha said softly, "but I cannot accept it." The merchant was crushed. "But why?" he asked. "Is it not good enough? Have I offended you?" "No," the Buddha replied. "It is too good. I am a simple monk. I live in the forest. I sleep on the earth. This robe belongs in a palace, not under a Bodhi tree. It would be a burden to me, not a gift. I would have to protect it from the rain and the thorns. I would have to worry about thieves. Possession of such a thing would steal my peace." The merchant stood there, confused and disappointed. He held the golden robe in his hands, feeling its weight. He did not know what to do. Then the Buddha pointed toward the edge of the grove. "If you truly wish to give," he said, "do not give to those who have enough. Give to those who have nothing. Look there." The merchant looked. Sitting at the edge of the crowd was an old beggar. He was shivering. His clothes were nothing but rags, thin and tattered. The evening air was growing cold, and the man was shaking, his arms wrapped tight around his frail body to keep warm. "Go," said the Buddha. "Wrap him in the gold." The merchant hesitated. This robe was worth a fortune. To give it to a beggar seemed like madness. It seemed like a waste. But he looked at the Buddha's eyes, and he saw a depth of wisdom he could not deny. Slowly, he walked over to the beggar. He unfolded the magnificent silk. He gently wrapped it around the old man's shoulders. The transformation was instant. The beggar stopped shivering. His face, pinched with cold and misery, softened into an expression of pure bliss. He touched the soft silk with his rough hands. He looked up at the merchant with tears in his eyes. He did not know the value of the gold thread. He only knew the value of the warmth. In that moment, the merchant felt something shift in his own heart. The pride vanished. The need for validation vanished. Seeing the relief in the old man's eyes gave him a feeling that money had never bought him. It was a warm glow in his chest, a feeling of connection, of humanity, of love. He looked back at the Buddha. The master nodded. "Now," the Buddha said, "you have truly given, and now you have truly received." This story teaches us about the burden of golden robes. In our lives, we often carry things that we think are valuable, but are actually just weighing us down. We carry the need to be perfect. We carry the need to be admired. We carry the need to be right. We carry the need to be in control. These are our golden robes. We think they make us safe. We think they make us worthy. But often, like the Buddha said, they just make us worry. We have to protect our image. We have to defend our status. We have to maintain the facade. It is exhausting work. Tonight, ask yourself, what golden robe am I wearing to bed? Are you wearing the heavy robe of, I must figure everything out? Are you wearing the tight robe of, I must not fail? Are you wearing the scratching robe of, I am not good enough? The Buddha is inviting you to take it off. It does not fit you. It is too heavy for a soul that wants to rest. Imagine taking off that heavy mantle of expectation. Unclasp it from your throat. Let it slide off your shoulders. Let it fall to the floor. You do not need to be impressive tonight. You do not need to be successful tonight. You do not need to be anything other than a breathing, living being. And here is the beautiful secret of the story. True generosity starts with yourself. Tonight, be the merchant, but also be the beggar. The part of you that is tired, the part of you that is shivering in the cold winds of anxiety, that is the beggar. The part of you that is wise, the part of you that is listening to my voice, that is the merchant. Give yourself the gift of warmth. Wrap your tired mind in the silk of compassion. Wrap your exhausted body in the velvet of rest. Do not withhold comfort from yourself because you think you haven't earned it. You do not earn rest. Rest is your birthright. Imagine a warm, golden light wrapping around you now, just like that robe. It covers your shoulders, your back, your legs. It stops the shivering of the mind. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel held. You are giving yourself permission to be vulnerable. You are giving yourself permission to stop striving. The merchant found joy, not in keeping the robe, but in giving it away. You will find sleep not in holding on to your thoughts, but in giving them away. Give your worries to the night. The night is vast enough to hold them. Give your plans to tomorrow. Tomorrow is strong enough to carry them. Give your body to the bed. The bed is soft enough to support you. You are naked of burdens. You are simple. You are free. Just like the monk in the forest, you need very little to be at peace. A quiet spot, a warm feeling, a gentle breath. Feel the luxury of simplicity, the luxury of doing absolutely nothing. You are not wasting time by sleeping. You are nourishing the roots of your life. You are being generous to the future version of you who will wake up tomorrow. Let the image of the golden robe fade. Let the village fade. There is only the feeling of warmth remaining. Warmth in your toes, warmth in your hands, warmth in your belly, warmth in your heart. You are wrapped in love. You are wrapped in peace, drifting, sinking, letting go. The gift has been given. The gift has been received. Now, simply rest. As the warmth of the golden robe settles around you, shielding you from the cold winds of worry, let us continue our journey. We are moving now to a landscape painted in watercolors. Imagine a countryside road in ancient Japan. It is the rainy season. The sky is a soft, heavy gray. The air is thick with mist, and the road, usually dusty and firm, has turned into a river of deep, thick mud. In this setting, we find two monks traveling together on a pilgrimage. One is named Tanzan, an older monk with a face creased by easy smiles and eyes that have seen the humor in life. The other is Ekido, younger, stricter, a man who follows every rule with rigid precision. They are walking in silence, the squelch of their sandals in the mud providing a steady rhythm. It is a difficult journey. The rain is falling steadily, tapping against their woven hats. They are tired, they are wet, but they keep moving, step by step, focused on their destination. As they round a bend in the road, they come to a crossing where the mud is particularly deep. A small stream has overflowed its banks, creating a wide pool of dirty water that blocks the path. Standing at the edge of this pool is a young woman. She is dressed in a beautiful silk kimono, glowing like a jewel against the gray landscape. She looks distressed. She cannot cross the mud without ruining her fine clothes. She is stuck, hesitating, looking at the dirty water with fear. Ekido, the strict young monk, sees her. He immediately looks away. He remembers his vows. Monks are not supposed to touch women. They are not supposed to engage with the worldly beauty of silk and fashion. He tightens his jaw, gathers his robes, and walks past her, careful not to even brush against her sleeve. He leaves her standing there, stranded. But Tanzan, the older monk, stops. He looks at the woman. He sees her predicament. He does not see a violation of rules. He sees a human being in need of help. Without a word, Tanzan walks up to her. He smiles gently. "Come," he says. He lifts her up in his strong arms, carrying her effortlessly over the mud and the rushing water. He sets her down safely on the dry ground on the other side. The woman bows deeply in gratitude. Tanzan bows back, adjusts his robe, and continues walking. The two monks continue their journey in silence, but the quality of the silence has changed. Before, it was the peaceful silence of meditation. Now, it is a heavy, tense silence. Ekido is fuming. He cannot believe what he just saw. He is replaying the scene over and over in his mind. How could he? Ekido thinks. He is a senior monk. He knows the rules better than anyone. He touched her. He held her. It is a disgrace. The miles roll by. The rain stops. The sun comes out. But the storm inside Aikido's mind continues to rage. He is judging, he is analyzing, he is seething. Finally, after hours of walking, seeing the sun beginning to set, Aikido can no longer contain himself. He stops in the middle of the road and turns to Tanzan. "Brother," he bursts out, his voice trembling with indignation. "We are monks. We are not supposed to go near females, especially young and lovely ones. It is dangerous. It is against our vows. Why did you do that?" Tanzan stops. He looks at his younger companion with genuine surprise. He looks as if he is trying to remember what Aikido is talking about. Then, a look of realization dawns on his face. He smiles that same easy, gentle smile. "Oh," Tanzan says softly. "You mean the woman at the crossing?" He pauses, looking deep into Aikido's eyes. "Brother," Tanzan says, "I left that woman by the river hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This question strikes the younger monk like a bolt of lightning. "I left her by the river. Why are you still carrying her?" Aikido stood frozen. He realized the heavy burden he had been hauling for the last 5 miles. It was not a physical burden. It was the burden of his own mind. Tanzan had performed the action, a simple act of kindness, and then let it go completely. He had been walking free and light all afternoon, but Aikido, who had not touched the woman, had been carrying her, carrying his judgment, carrying his anger, carrying the past with every step. Tonight, lying in the safety of your bed, I want you to ask yourself, what am I still carrying? The events of your day are over. The meetings are finished. The conversations have ended. The mistakes have been made. The river is miles behind you. But are you still carrying the woman across the mud? Are you carrying the rude comment a stranger made at 10 a.m.? Are you carrying the email you forgot to send? Are you carrying the slight frown your partner gave you over dinner? The event itself lasted only a moment. It took 10 seconds to read the email. It took 1 minute to hear the comment. But you have been carrying the weight of it for hours. You are exhausted. Not because the road is long, but because your backpack is full of things that belong in the past. The wisdom of Tanzan is the wisdom of the drop. Imagine you are wearing a heavy backpack. It is filled with rocks. Each rock is a thought about today. Each rock is a judgment. Each rock is a worry. Now, imagine taking that backpack off. Feel the strap sliding off your tired shoulders. Hear the heavy thud as it hits the ground. You do not need to carry it into your sleep. The woman does not belong in your bedroom. The work does not belong in your pillow. The past does not belong in the present. Leave them at the river. Visualize a flowing stream running right past your bed. It is a gentle, cleansing stream. Now, take every thought that is still clinging to you and gently place it in the water. Watch the current take it. Watch it bobbing on the surface, moving away further and further until it disappears around the bend. I put it down, you whisper to yourself. I put it down. Feel the lightness returning to your body. Your spine decompresses. Your neck lengthens. The tension between your eyebrows melts away. You are like Tanzan now. You have done what needed to be done today. You handled the muddy crossings. You helped where you could. And now, you are walking on dry ground. You are walking free. You have permission to forget. You have permission to let the day dissolve. The memory of the day is not the day. The memory is just a thought, a ghost, a shadow. You can blow it away like smoke. Breathe in the present moment. It is clean. It is fresh. It has no mud in it. Breathe out the past. Let it go back to the earth. You are empty. You are light. You are ready. The 2 monks are fading into the distance now. They are small specks on the horizon. The sun has set. The stars are out. The road is quiet. and you are alone in the sanctuary of your own peace. There is nothing left to carry. Your hands are open. Your mind is open. You are simply being, floating, drifting, supported by the silence. The river flows on. The world turns on, and you rest, deeply, completely, without a single burden to weigh you down. Sleep is the act of putting everything down, so put it down and let go. As the ripples of the stream settle into stillness, let us leave the countryside behind. We are traveling now to a place of magnificent contrast. Imagine a bustling city in ancient Japan. It is a place of energy and movement. The streets are filled with people. The air vibrates with the sounds of merchants shouting, wheels turning, and life moving at a frantic pace. But in the very center of this chaos, there stands a temple. It is a sanctuary of wood and stone, ancient and immovable. Its golden roof gleams in the sun, a beacon of stillness rising above the noise. Inside these walls, the air changes. The frantic energy of the city hits the temple gates and dissolves, leaving only a profound, heavy silence. It is a silence that smells of centuries of incense and old cedar wood. In this temple, our next story takes place. It is a story about the secret of true hearing. It teaches us how to find quiet, not by running away from noise, but by changing what we listen for. This is the story of the cricket in the temple. One day, a young musician visited this famous temple. He was a man who had dedicated his life to sound. He had studied the flute and the drum. He knew the intricate rhythms of nature and the soaring melodies of the court. He came to the temple not just to pray, but to listen. He wanted to understand the quality of the silence that everyone spoke about. He walked through the main hall. It was crowded. Tourists were whispering. Monks were chanting in the distance. The sound of construction drifted in from the city streets outside. To the ordinary ear, it was not silent at all. It was a cacophony of life. The musician found a quiet corner near a massive wooden pillar. He sat down on a cushion, closed his eyes, and tuned his ears like a fine instrument. He let the layers of loud noise wash over him, trying to hear what lay beneath. He listened past the footsteps. He listened past the whispers. He listened past the traffic. And there, buried deep within the layers of sound, he heard something extraordinary. It was a tiny, rhythmic chirping. Chirp, chirp, chirp. It was the song of a cricket, a single, solitary cricket living inside a crack in the ancient wooden pillar. The sound was so faint, so delicate, that it seemed impossible that anyone could hear it in such a busy place. Yet, there it was, clear as a bell. The musician opened his eyes, amazed. He approached an elderly monk who was sweeping the floor nearby. "Venerable one," the musician whispered, pointing to the pillar. "Do you know there is a cricket living in there?" The old monk paused. He leaned on his broom and smiled, a smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Ah, yes," he said softly. "Our little friend, he has lived here for many years. He sings the sutras in his own way." The musician shook his head in wonder. "But how?" he asked. "How can you hear such a tiny voice amidst all this noise? The city is roaring outside. The hall is full of people. It seems impossible." The monk chuckled. He reached into the deep fold of his robe and pulled out a single small copper coin. He held it up so it caught the light. "Watch," the monk said. He let the coin drop from his hand. It hit the stone floor with a sharp, metallic clink. Instantly, heads turned. People who were deep in prayer looked up. Tourists who were talking stopped mid-sentence. A merchant walking 50 feet away turned around to see where the money had fallen. Nearly everyone in the vast hall reacted to the sound of that one small coin. The monk looked at the musician and said gently, "You see, my son, it is not about the volume of the sound. It is about what the heart is listening for." He continued, "People hear what they value. They are tuned to the frequency of money, of gain, of worry, so they hear the coin even in a storm. But the cricket, who sings of peace and simplicity, they do not hear him. Not because he is too quiet, but because they are not listening for him. The monk swept a pile of dust into his pan and added, "True silence is not the absence of noise. True silence is the ability to hear the cricket. When you quiet your inner noise, the subtle beauty of the world becomes loud." This story holds a mirror up to our own sleepless nights. Often, when we lie in bed, we say it is too noisy to sleep. We hear the traffic outside. We hear the refrigerator humming. We hear the house settling. But the loudest noise is usually the noise inside our own heads. We are listening for the coins. We are listening for the problems. We are tuned to the frequency of, "What did I forget? And what if I fail?" We are hyper-alert to danger and demand. Our minds are scanning for the metallic clink of stress. And because we are listening for it, that is all we hear. We miss the cricket. The cricket represents the subtle, constant background of peace that is always there. It is the sound of your own life force. It is the sound of the universe supporting you. Tonight, I invite you to change your frequency. Stop listening for the coins. Stop scanning your life for problems to solve. The problems will still be there tomorrow. You do not need to hold them now. Instead, listen for the cricket. What is the cricket in your room right now? Maybe it is the sound of your breath, the soft whoosh of air entering and leaving your body. Tune into that. Let it become louder than your thoughts. Maybe it is the hum of silence itself. If you listen very closely, beneath the external sounds, there is a kind of static, a velvety silence that underpins everything. Can you hear it? It is the sound of the present moment. Maybe it is the beating of your own heart, a steady, rhythmic drum that has been playing since before you were born. Lub-dub, lub-dub. It is the song of life. Imagine you are back in that temple. The crowd fades away. The city fades away. It is just you, the old monk, and the pillar. You close your eyes. You let the world spin. You are not interested in the coins anymore. You are only interested in that tiny, sweet song. Chirp, chirp. It is a lullaby. It is telling you that you are part of nature. It is telling you that you are small and safe and hidden in the great structure of existence. As you focus on the subtle, the gross layers of tension begin to fall away. Your ears relax. Your jaw relaxes. You stop straining to understand and start simply receiving. People hear what they listen for. Tonight, listen for safety. Tonight, listen for comfort. Tonight, listen for rest. Direct your attention to the feeling of the sheets against your skin. That is a whisper. Can you hear it? Direct your attention to the heaviness of your eyelids. That is a whisper. Can you hear it? You are tuning your instrument. You are turning the dial from alert to at peace. The noise of the mind is becoming distant now, like a radio playing in another room. You can hear it, but you are not listening to it. You are listening to the silence in your own room. The silence is thick. It is rich. It is full of dreams, waiting to be dreamt. Let the cricket's song guide you down into the wood of the pillar, down into the roots of the temple, down into the earth. You are no longer the musician trying to analyze the sound. You are the sound. You are the silence, drifting deeper. The coin lies forgotten on the floor. The monk has swept it away. There is only the peace of the sanctuary left. Wrapped in the ancient quiet, you are free to let go. Your hearing softens. The world outside blurs. There is only this, right here, quiet, calm, still. Sleep is the ultimate silence. Listen for it. It is calling your name. As the silence of the temple fades into the recesses of your memory, let us take a breath together, deep, slow, and cleansing. We are moving now, leaving the city behind completely. We are traveling high into the mountains, to a place where the air is thin and crisp, and the only ceiling is the vast, open sky. Imagine a narrow path winding along the spine of a green mountain. Far below, you can see a river cutting through the valley like a ribbon of silver. The wind here is fresh. It smells of pine needles and damp earth. It is a place of clarity, a place where the mind can expand to match the horizon. In this high and holy place, we find the setting for our next story. It is a tale about the most common struggle we face, the struggle to tame a restless mind. This is the story of the Zen master and the strawberries. There was once a dedicated Zen student who had been practicing for many years. He was sincere. He was disciplined. He woke up early to meditate. He studied the ancient texts until late at night. But despite all his effort, he was tormented. His mind would not be still. One day, he went to his master, his face heavy with defeat. "Master," he said, "I have been studying for 3 years, but my mind is still a monkey. When I sit to meditate, thoughts flood in like a waterfall. When I try to be mindful during the day, I am constantly distracted by worries about the future and regrets about the past. I am exhausted. How can I find peace?" The master listened. He saw the tension in the student's shoulders. He saw the desperate longing in his eyes. He did not give the student a lecture. He did not give him a new mantra. Instead, he stood up and said, "Come with me. I wish to show you something." He led the student out of the monastery gates and down that narrow mountain path. They walked in silence for nearly an hour. The student's mind was still racing, wondering where they were going, wondering if he was in trouble, wondering if this was a test. Finally, they came to a high cliff overlooking a breathtaking valley. The view was spectacular. Clouds drifted below their feet. Hawks circled on thermal currents. The master gestured for the student to sit near the edge of the cliff, where a patch of soft grass grew. When they were both seated comfortably, the master reached into the deep sleeve of his robe. He pulled out 2 small, perfectly ripe, wild strawberries. They were deep red, speckled with tiny seeds, glowing like rubies in the mountain sun. He placed one in front of the student. He kept one for himself. "Eat," said the master. The student was confused. He had expected a profound teaching, a secret technique, but he obeyed. He picked up the strawberry. It was cool to the touch. He put it in his mouth and bit down. The flavor exploded. It was sweet, tart, and intensely fragrant. It tasted of sunlight and rain and mountain soil. He had eaten strawberries before, but perhaps because of the long walk, or the fresh air, or the silence, this one tasted different. It tasted alive. They sat in silence, chewing slowly, swallowing the sweet juice. The master watched the student closely. He saw the furrow in the student's brow smooth out. He saw his eyes close in simple pleasure. When the last trace of the fruit was gone, the master spoke. "Tell me," he asked softly, "while you were eating that strawberry, where was your mind?" The student blinked. He reflected for a moment. It was here, he realized with a start. It was right here. I was not thinking about the monastery. I was not thinking about my failure to meditate. I was completely absorbed in the taste. For that moment, there was only the strawberry. The master smiled. And during those moments, he continued, "Were you troubled? Were you anxious? Were you regretful?" "No," the student whispered. "There was no room for trouble. There was only the taste." The master nodded. "This," he said, "is the peace you seek. It is not found by fighting your thoughts. It is not found by achieving some special blank state. It is found in complete, undivided presence, with whatever is right in front of you." He gestured to the vast valley. "Whether it is a strawberry, a breath, a step, or a chore. When you are fully present, the past and future cannot touch you. They exist only in thought. But when thought dissolves into pure experience, peace naturally emerges. The student protested, "But master, the strawberry was easy to be present with because it was pleasant. What about when I face something difficult? What about when I am in pain?" "The practice is the same," the master replied. "The nature of what you face changes, but the quality of awareness you bring to it does not. If you can taste the strawberry fully, you can taste the breath fully. If you can taste the breath fully, you can taste the moment fully. And in the moment, there is no story. There is only what is." This story cuts to the heart of why we cannot sleep. We lie in bed, and we are not eating the strawberry. We are eating the past. We are chewing on old arguments. We are swallowing fears about tomorrow. We are nowhere near our beds. We are time traveling. And time traveling is exhausting. The Zen master is inviting you to come back. Come back to the cliff edge. Come back to the simplicity of right now. You do not need to empty your mind. That is like trying to stop the wind. You just need to fill your mind with something else. Fill it with the strawberry of the present moment. What is the strawberry right now? It is the sensation of comfort. It is the feeling of your body letting go. It is the velvety darkness behind your eyes. I want you to try something. Imagine that sleep is a fruit. It is a sweet, heavy, delicious fruit that is hanging right in front of you. You do not need to analyze it. You do not need to worry if you will get enough of it. You just need to taste it. Take a bite of the silence. Savor it. What does silence taste like? It tastes cool. It tastes spacious. It tastes like relief. Take a bite of the softness of your mattress. Savor it. What does softness feel like? It feels supportive. It feels forgiving. It feels like a hug that lasts all night. When you are fully tasting the sensation of comfort, you cannot be worrying. The mind can only be in one place at a time. If it is fully here, in the sensation, it cannot be there, in the problem. Where is your mind? The master asks you. If it has wandered off to tomorrow's to-do list, gently guide it back. Come back, you whisper. Taste this breath. It is a good breath. Inhale and feel the texture of the air. Is it cool? Is it warm? Exhale and feel the release in your chest. Is it smooth? Is it jagged? Just notice. Just taste. This is the practice of mindfulness. It is not a grim duty. It is a banquet. You are feasting on the simple joy of being alive and safe. The student on the mountain realized that peace was not a destination he had to hike to. It was available in a single bite. And sleep is not a destination you have to struggle to reach. It is available in a single breath. If you simply taste this moment, and then the next, and then the next, the string of moments will turn into a chain of relaxation. And before you know it, that chain will pull you down into the deep valley of dreams. The cliff is high. The air is rare. You are far above the noise of your life. There is only you. There is only the master. There is only the taste of the night. Sweet, dark, quiet. Let your mind absorb the flavor of rest. Let it saturate every cell of your brain. You are not thinking about sleep. You are experiencing resting. There is a difference. Thinking takes effort. Experiencing is effortless. Stop trying. Start tasting. The strawberry is ripe. The night is ready. Eat, enjoy, rest. As the taste of the wild strawberry lingers on your tongue, reminding you of the sweetness of the present moment, let us turn our attention inward. We are leaving the mountain cliff now. We are walking back through the gates of the ancient monastery, moving through the quiet corridors where the scent of old wood and incense hangs in the air. We are entering a different kind of space now, a space of deep introspection. Here, in the dim light of the monastery, we find a young monk who represents a part of all of us. This is the story of polishing the mirror, a tale that heals the deep belief that we are somehow broken or incomplete. This young monk was diligent. He was the first to wake up in the morning, breaking the ice on the wash basin to clean his face. He was the last to go to sleep, chanting the sutras by the light of a flickering oil lamp. He followed every rule. He fasted when he was told to fast. He sat in meditation until his legs were numb. He did this for 7 long years. But, despite his incredible effort, his heart was heavy. He felt no closer to peace than the day he arrived. He felt like a failure. He felt like there was a wall between him and the enlightenment he sought. One evening, unable to bear his frustration any longer, he went to the abbot's quarters. He bowed low, his forehead touching the floor. But when he looked up, his eyes were filled with tears. "Master," he choked out, "I have done everything you asked. I have polished the floors. I have studied the texts. I have disciplined my body. Yet, I feel empty. I feel like I am missing the spark. What is wrong with me? Why can I not find the light?" The old master looked at him with infinite kindness. He did not scold him for his impatience. Instead, he stood up and beckoned the young man to follow him. They walked to the back of the monastery, to an old storage room that had not been opened in years. It was dark inside, and the air was thick with dust. In the corner, half hidden behind piles of old scrolls and broken furniture, sat an ancient bronze mirror. It was covered in decades of grime. Dust, oxidation, and dirt had formed a thick, grey crust over its surface. It looked like a useless piece of junk metal. It reflected nothing. "Do you see this mirror?" the master asked. "Yes," said the monk. "It is ruined." "Is it?" the master asked softly. "Here, take this cloth." He handed the monk a soft rag and a jar of polishing oil. "Clean it." The monk began to scrub. It was hard work. The grime was stubborn. He rubbed and scrubbed, his arms aching, sweat dripping from his brow. For hours he worked, while the master sat quietly and watched. Slowly, very slowly, the grey crust began to flake away. Beneath the dirt, a glint of gold appeared. The monk worked harder, encouraged by the flash of light. He polished in circles, rhythmically, patiently. Finally, after much effort, the last smudge of dirt was wiped away. The monk stepped back. The mirror was breathtaking. It shone like a miniature sun in the dark room. It was flawless. It reflected the candlelight, the face of the monk, and the compassionate eyes of the master perfectly. It was a pool of liquid light. The master walked over and placed a hand on the monk's shoulder. "Tell me," the master asked, "did your scrubbing create the light?" The monk thought for a moment. "No," he replied. "The scrubbing just removed the dirt." "Did the oil create the reflection?" the master asked. "No, master. The metal was always reflective. That is its nature." "Exactly," the master whispered. "The mirror was always perfect. Even when it was covered in 10 years of dust, its capacity to reflect was exactly the same. The dust did not change the metal, it only hid it." He looked deep into the young monk's eyes. "So it is with you. You think you are broken. You think you need to build enlightenment, or earn peace, or create a new version of yourself. But you are wrong. Your true nature, your Buddha nature, is already perfect. It is clear. It is luminous. It is peaceful. It has been there since the moment you were born, and it will be there until the moment you die. The stress, the worry, the doubt, the fear, these are just dust," the master continued. "They settle on the surface of your mind, obscuring the light. But they never, ever damage the mirror beneath. Your practice is not about becoming someone else. It is simply the act of wiping the mirror clean." The young monk fell to his knees. A massive weight lifted from his soul. He realized he did not have to achieve anything. He only had to reveal what was already there. He was not a construction project. He was a restoration project. This story is a powerful lullaby for the self-critical mind. How often do we lie in bed, judging ourselves? I am not good enough. I am broken. I am anxious by nature. I forgot how to sleep. We think our insomnia or our stress is a defect in our manufacturing. We think we need to fix ourselves before we can rest. But the Zen master is telling you the truth tonight. You are not broken. You are simply dusty. The anxiety you feel is not who you are. It is just dust. The racing thoughts are not who you are. They are just dust. The tension in your shoulders is not who you are. It is just dust. Beneath all of that, right now, deep in your core, there is a mirror that is pristine and perfect. There is a part of you that knows exactly how to be calm. There is a part of you that knows exactly how to sleep. You were born knowing how to sleep. It is your nature. You do not need to learn how to rest. You just need to wipe away the day. Imagine, right now, that your mind is that beautiful bronze mirror. Throughout the day, the dust of the world has settled on it. The traffic, the news, the conversations, the demands. It looks grey, it looks cloudy. But now, we are going to polish it, not with hard scrubbing, but with the gentle cloth of your breath. Visualize your breath as a soft, velvet cloth. Every time you inhale, you are applying the soothing oil of relaxation. Every time you exhale, you are gently wiping the surface of your mind. Inhale, soften. Exhale, wipe. See the dust clearing. See the grey clouds dissolving. With every breath, you are revealing the gold underneath. You are uncovering your natural state. Calm is your natural state. Peace is your natural state. Sleep is your natural state. You do not have to force it. The mirror does not have to try to reflect. It just does. Once the dust is gone, the reflection happens automatically. You do not have to try to sleep. Once the worry is wiped away, sleep happens automatically. Feel the shine returning to your mind. It is a quiet shine, a dark, cool luminosity. It reflects the silence of the room. It reflects the safety of the night. You are returning to your factory settings. You are perfect just as you are. There is nothing to fix. There is only dust to remove. And look, it is already leaving. The breath is doing the work. The story is doing the work. The night is doing the work. You are emerging from the storage room of your anxiety. You are standing in the light of your own true nature. Bright, clear, whole. The young monk stopped striving and started polishing. Tonight, stop striving for sleep. Stop trying to be a good sleeper. Just gently, lovingly polish the mirror. Let the breath sweep the corners of your mind. Let the exhale carry the dust away into the darkness. What is left is you, the real you, the peaceful you, resting in that clarity, resting in that shine. The mirror is clean. The mind is clear. The body is ready. Drift now into the reflection of deep sleep. As the image of the polished mirror fades into the darkness, leaving behind only a sense of clarity and light, let us step outside once more. We are leaving the monastery rooms. We are walking out into the temple gardens. It is a crisp, clear autumn night. The air is cool against your skin, refreshing and pure. Above you, the sky is a vast dome of indigo velvet, sprinkled with diamond stars. But dominating the sky, hanging low and heavy, is a magnificent full moon. It is so bright that it turns the garden into a landscape of silver and black. In this moonlit garden, our next story unfolds. It is a story about the difference between knowing the path and walking the path. It is a story about the trap of overthinking and the freedom of direct experience. This is the story of pointing at the moon. One evening, a Zen master was walking through this very garden with one of his most brilliant disciples. This disciple was a scholar. He had read every sutra. He had memorized thousands of lines of ancient wisdom. He could debate the finer points of philosophy for hours without pausing for breath. He knew everything about Zen. But he was not happy. He was not at peace. As they walked along the gravel path, the crunch of their footsteps echoing softly, the disciple's brow was furrowed in deep concentration. He looked like a man carrying a heavy load of invisible books. Finally, he could not contain his frustration any longer. "Master," he asked, "I am confused. I have studied the texts on emptiness. I have studied the texts on compassion. I have studied the nature of the mind. But one book says to strive, and another says to let go. One teacher says to look within, another says to look without. The more I read, the less I understand. How can I unify all these teachings? What is the ultimate truth?" The master stopped walking. He did not answer the question with another theory. He did not quote a scripture. Instead, he simply raised his hand and pointed a single finger toward the night sky. "Look," the master whispered. The disciple looked up. He followed the line of the master's finger. He saw the full moon, glowing with a serene white luminescence. It was breathtakingly beautiful, floating in the silence of the cosmos. "Tell me," said the master, keeping his hand raised, "are you looking at my finger or are you looking at the moon?" The disciple blinked. "I am looking at the moon, of course," he replied. "Your finger is just pointing the way." "And did you need to analyze my finger to see the moon?" the master asked. "Did you need to know the anatomy of my hand or the length of my nail in order to perceive the light?" "No," said the disciple. "That would be foolish." The master lowered his hand. He looked at the young scholar with a compassionate smile. "The sutras," the master said, "the words, the theories, the techniques, even my teachings, they are all just fingers. They are fingers pointing at the moon. They are not the moon itself." He continued, "You have spent years studying the finger. You have analyzed it. You have argued about it. You have memorized its shape. But you have forgotten to look at where it is pointing. The words peace and silence are not peace and silence. They are just signs. If you focus too much on the map, you will never see the territory." The disciple stood there, stunned. The moonlight washed over his face. For the first time in years, his mind stopped analyzing. He stopped trying to figure it out. He simply looked up. He let the light enter his eyes. He felt the cool breeze. He heard the rustle of the bamboo leaves. He realized that the truth was not in his books. It was not in his thoughts. It was right there, shining down on him. Unspoken, unwritten, real. This story, my friend, is a cure for the trying mind. Especially when we cannot sleep, we become like the scholar. We become obsessed with the finger. We read articles about how to sleep. We try breathing techniques, counting to 4, holding for 7, exhaling for 8. We adjust the pillow. We check the temperature. We worry about our sleep hygiene. We are analyzing the finger. We are trying so hard to do sleep correctly that we miss the experience of resting. We think that if we just find the right technique, the right thought, the right position, then we will find peace. But peace is not a technique. Peace is the moon. It is already there. Tonight, the Zen master is inviting you to lower your hand. Stop looking at the finger. You do not need to know how to sleep. Your body knows. It has known since you were a baby. You do not need to understand the science of relaxation to relax. You just need to look at the moon. What is the moon right now? It is the direct experience of lying here. Not the thought of lying here, the feeling of it. Stop thinking about your breath and just feel the air moving. Stop thinking about comfort and just feel the bed. Stop thinking about sleep and just enjoy the dark. The words I am speaking to you right now, they are just fingers. Do not hold on to them too tightly. Let them point you toward your own silence. And then, let the words go. You do not need the map once you have arrived at the destination. And you have arrived. You are in bed. The day is done. The work is finished. Imagine you are that disciple standing in the garden. The master has walked away, leaving you alone in the moonlight. It is so quiet. The light is so silver and soft. It bathes your face, smoothing out the worry lines. It bathes your shoulders, dissolving the tension. You are not doing anything. You are just witnessing. Witnessing the rise and fall of your chest. Witnessing the heaviness of your limbs. Witnessing the slow drift of your thoughts. You are moving from knowing to being. Knowing is hard work. Being is effortless. Knowing is the head. Being is the heart. Drop down from your head into your heart. The moon does not strive to shine. It just reflects the sun. You do not need to strive to sleep. You just need to reflect the stillness of the night. Let go of the need to control the process. Let go of the need to measure your sleep. Let go of the need to do it right. There is no right way to rest. There is only your way. Soft, natural, easy. Feel the moonlight turning into a liquid sensation, pouring into the top of your head, flowing down your neck, soothing your spine. It is a cool, healing light. It washes away the noise of the intellect. The analyzing mind is falling asleep. The scholar is tired. He puts down his books. He closes his eyes. But the witness, the one who sees the moon, remains calm, silent, aware. You are floating in a sea of silver light. The finger has vanished. The direction is clear. There is nowhere to go but deep, deep down, into the velvet mystery of sleep, into the direct experience of peace. Trust the moon. It watches over you. Trust the night. It holds you. Trust yourself. You know the way. Just look. Just feel. Just be. As the silver light of the moon continues to watch over you, let us journey further into the landscape of the soul. We are leaving the quiet garden now. We are traveling back in time to an era of steel and silence, to the ancient days of the samurai. Imagine a scene of stark beauty. A lonely temple gate standing at the foot of a misty mountain. The air is cold and biting. The wind whistles through the pines, sharp and clean. Standing before this gate is a warrior. He is a samurai, renowned throughout the land for his strength and his skill. He is encased in heavy armor, lacquered black and bound with silk cords. At his side hang two swords, the razor-sharp symbols of his soul. He is a man of power, a man of pride, a man who has never backed down from a fight. But despite his strength, his heart is troubled. He carries a heaviness that his armor cannot protect him from. He has seen too much war. He has seen too much suffering, and he is haunted by a single burning question. He has come to this remote temple to find the answer. He pushes open the heavy wooden gates and enters the courtyard. There, sweeping the fallen leaves, is a tiny, elderly Zen master. The monk looks frail, no bigger than a child, wearing simple, faded robes. The towering samurai marches up to the little monk. His voice booms like thunder, breaking the silence of the temple. "Monk," he demands, "teach me. I want to know about heaven and hell. Do they exist? Where are the gates? How do I enter one and avoid the other?" The little monk stops sweeping. He looks up at the mighty warrior. He looks at the fierce mask of the helmet. He looks at the hands hovering near the deadly swords. And then, the monk does something unthinkable. He begins to laugh. It is a mocking, derisive laugh. "You," the monk sneers, "you want to know about holy things. Look at you. You are unkempt. You smell of rust and sweat. Your armor is dirty. Your face is ugly. You call yourself a samurai. You look more like a beggar wrapped in scrap metal. No master would want such a pathetic fool guarding him. Go away. Do not waste my time with your stupid questions. The samurai freezes. He cannot believe his ears. He is a man of honor. He is used to trembling respect, not insults. The blood rushes to his face. The veins in his neck bulge. A red mist of pure rage descends over his eyes. His ego has been wounded. His pride has been attacked. Without a thought, his hand flies to the hilt of his sword. The metal sings as he draws the blade, a flash of cold steel in the morning light. He raises the weapon high above his head, ready to strike down this insolent little monk. His muscles are tense. His breath is jagged. He is consumed by the desire to destroy. At that precise moment, with death hanging in the air, the little monk looks him straight in the eye. He does not flinch. He does not run. He simply whispers, "That is the gate of hell." The samurai freezes again. The sword hangs in the air, trembling. In a split second, the meaning of the monk's words pierces his heart deeper than any blade. He realizes what has happened. The monk had not insulted him out of cruelty. He had insulted him to show him the truth. The samurai realizes that in his anger, in his tension, in his violence, he had created hell. He was burning in it. Hell was not a place under the ground. Hell was the heat in his chest. Hell was the tightness in his grip. Hell was the loss of control. His face softens. The red mist clears. He realizes his foolishness. He realizes that he creates his own suffering. Slowly, very slowly, he lowers the sword. He slides it back into its sheath with a soft click. His shoulders drop. His hands relax. He falls to his knees, overcome with humility and gratitude. He bows his forehead to the dusty ground, surrendering his pride, surrendering his anger, surrendering his need to be right. The monk smiles gently. He places a hand on the warrior's shoulder and whispers, "And that is the gate of paradise." This story, my friend, is the map to your own peace tonight. We often think that heaven and hell are places we go to after we die. But the Zen master teaches us that they are places we go to every single day. They are states of mind. When we lie in bed, fighting against insomnia, we are standing at the gate of hell. Feel your body right now. Is there tension in your jaw? That is the gate. Are your hands clenched? That is the gate. Is your mind attacking you with thoughts of, "I should have done this," or "Why can't I sleep?" That is the gate. The heat of frustration, the tightness of control, the sharpness of worry. These are the flames. But you have a sword. The sword is your power to react. When you react to sleeplessness with anger, you are drawing the sword. You are creating a battle in your own bed. But look at the samurai. What did he do to find paradise? He did not travel to a distant land. He did not die. He did not change the monk. He simply sheathed his sword. That is all you have to do tonight. Sheath your sword. You are fighting a battle against being awake. You are fighting a battle against your thoughts. Stop fighting. Imagine you are that samurai. You are holding the heavy sword of trying to sleep. Your arm is tired. Your mind is tired. Now, slowly, gently, put the sword down. Slide it back into the scabbard. Click. Let go of the handle. Let your hands open. Feel the paradise that follows the surrender. Paradise is not a place of angels and harps. Paradise is the feeling of relief. It is the coolness that comes after the heat of anger. It is the softness that comes after the hardness of tension. Paradise is right here, in this mattress. It is in the cool side of the pillow. It is in the space between your thoughts. When you stop fighting reality, you enter the gates of heaven. If you are awake, accept it. That acceptance is paradise. If you are tired, accept it. That acceptance is paradise. If your mind is busy, watch it without judgment. That watching is paradise. There is no enemy in this room. There is no little monk insulting you. There is only you, and the peace waiting for you to claim it. I want you to scan your body for any swords you are still holding. Is your forehead frowning? That is a sword. Sheathe it. Smooth it out. Is your belly tight? That is a sword. Sheathe it. Let it become soft and round. Are your toes curled? Sheathe them. Let them wiggle and relax. You are no longer a warrior. You do not need armor in this bed. Take off the black lacquer plates. Take off the heavy helmet. You are vulnerable and you are safe. The wind in the temple courtyard has died down. The leaves have stopped moving. The monk has gone back to his sweeping, and the samurai is resting. He understands now. He holds the key to the gates. You hold the key to the gates. Every breath is a choice. Inhale. Acknowledge the tension. Exhale. Enter paradise. Inhale. See the gate. Exhale. Walk through it. You are walking into a garden of pure peace. The grass is soft. The air is sweet. There is nothing to fight here. Lay down your weapons. Lay down your shield. Lay down your heavy head. The war is over. The peace treaty has been signed with the night. You are free to rest. You are free to sleep. Paradise is just a letting go away. Let go, let go, let go. As the warrior lays down his sword and the gate of paradise opens within your heart, let us continue our journey to a place of even greater simplicity. We are traveling back to the mountains of ancient Japan, but this time to a very different kind of dwelling. Imagine a tiny hut perched high on a lonely hillside. It is not a temple. It is barely a house. The roof is made of thatch that leaks when it rains. The walls are thin bamboo. Inside, there is almost nothing. No furniture, no golden statues, no soft carpets. Just a single straw mat on the floor and a wooden bowl for begging. This is the home of Ryokan, a Zen monk who was known not for his scholarship, but for his gentle heart and his poetic spirit. He lived a life of absolute poverty, yet he was considered by many to be the richest man in the world. Tonight's story is called Ryokan's Moon. It is a story that heals the part of us that feels we are lacking, the part of us that is always searching for more. One quiet evening, Ryokan was sitting in meditation inside his hut. The sun had set long ago, and the mountain was wrapped in silence. He sat with his eyes closed, his breath slow and steady, enjoying the peace of the night. While he was meditating, a thief broke into the hut. The thief was a desperate man from the village below. He had heard that a monk lived here, and he assumed that, like other monks, Ryokan might have hidden gold, or fine scriptures, or perhaps some food. The thief crept around the small room, his hands feeling along the walls, searching for something, anything, of value. But he found nothing. The cupboards were bare. The floor was empty. There was literally nothing to steal. Ryokan, hearing the rustling, opened his eyes. He saw the thief standing there, looking frustrated and disappointed. Most people would be afraid. Most people would shout or try to defend their home. But Ryokan simply looked at the intruder with deep sadness. He felt bad, not for himself, but for the thief. "My poor friend," Ryokan said softly, breaking the silence. The thief jumped, startled. Ryokan continued, "You have come such a long way to visit me. The mountain path is steep and difficult in the dark. It hurts my heart to think that you should return to the village empty-handed. You must take something." The thief stood frozen, confused. He looked at the monk sitting on the floor. Ryokan stood up. He untied his simple robe, the only garment he owned. It was old and tattered, but it was warm. He folded it carefully and held it out to the thief. "Please," Ryokan said, "take my clothes as a gift. It is all I have, but it will keep you warm on your journey down." The thief was bewildered. He snatched the robe from the monk's hands and fled into the night, running away as fast as he could, terrified by this strange kindness. Ryokan was left alone. He was naked now, sitting on his mat. The night air was cold against his skin, but he did not close the door. Instead, he walked to the window and looked out. The clouds had parted, and the full moon was shining in the sky, bright and luminous. It bathed the entire mountain in a sea of silver light. It was breathtakingly beautiful, a jewel that no money could buy, hanging in the vastness of space. Ryokan sat down and gazed at the light. A smile spread across his face, and he composed a small poem. He whispered it to the wind. The thief left it behind, the moon at my window, and then he added with a sigh of genuine regret, "Poor fellow. I wish I could have given him this beautiful moon." This story, my friend, is a medicine for the wanting mind. We are all a little bit like that thief. We spend our days, and often our nights, rummaging through our lives, looking for something to steal. We are looking for happiness in the future. We are looking for validation from others. We are looking for security in our bank accounts. We enter the hut of the present moment, and we say, "Is this it? Is this all there is?" We are disappointed because we cannot find the treasure we think we need. We are so busy looking for what is missing that we miss what is there. The thief ran away with a ragdolled robe, thinking he had gained something, but he missed the moon. He missed the view. He missed the peace that Ryokan was swimming in. Ryokan had nothing, yet he had everything. He had the moon. He had the ability to appreciate the beauty right in front of him. He was so rich in spirit that he actually felt sorry for the man who was robbing him. Tonight, lying in your bed, I invite you to stop being the thief. Stop rummaging through your mind looking for problems to fix. Stop looking for what is missing in your life. Stop feeling like you need more to be happy. More sleep, more money, more love, more time. You have enough. Right here, right now. Look at the moon in your own life. The moon is the fact that you are safe. The moon is the fact that you have a bed. The moon is the fact that your heart is beating without you having to ask it to. Imagine that you are Ryokan. You are stripped bare of all your roles. You are not a worker. You are not a parent. You are not a partner. You are just a naked soul sitting in the window of the universe. You have nothing to protect. You have nothing to hide. You are vulnerable, but you are not afraid. You are cold, but you are alive. Feel the freedom of having nothing to lose. When you have nothing to lose, you have everything to enjoy. Visualize the moon of deep rest shining down on you. It is a gift that cannot be stolen. It is always there, right outside the window of your busy mind. But you have to stop searching the cupboards to see it. The thief left it behind. The moon at my window. Let the thief of your mind run away. Let the thoughts run down the mountain. Let them take the robe of your daily concerns. Let them take the plans. Let them take the worries. Here, you say to your thoughts, "Take this worry, I give it to you. Take this stress, I give it to you." Do not go away empty-handed. Take it all. And once the thoughts have run away with your burdens, what is left? Just you. Just the silence. Just the moon. Breathe in the silver light of contentment. Contentment means realizing that this moment is enough. This breath is enough. This darkness is enough. You do not need to add anything to this moment to make it perfect. It is already full. Ryokan sat in the cold and felt rich. You can lie in the dark and feel rich. Rich with rest. Rich with stillness. Rich with the simple luxury of existing. Allow a feeling of gratitude to rise in your chest. Not gratitude for big things, but gratitude for the moon at your window. Gratitude for the silence. The wanting mind is falling asleep. It is tired of searching. It sits down next to Ryokan. It looks out the window. It sees the light. And finally, it understands. There is nothing to get. There is only something to see. And you are seeing it now. The beauty of the quiet. The beauty of the dark. The beauty of the let go. Drifting. Watching the moon. Smiling gently. You are home. You are whole. You are at peace. As the silver light of Ryokan's moon slowly fades into the gentle mists of your imagination, let us travel to the banks of a wide, flowing river. It is early morning in this landscape. The sun is just beginning to peek over the horizon, painting the water in shades of pink and gold. The air is cool and damp. You can hear the soft lapping of waves against the shore and the distant call of a water bird. In this peaceful riverside setting, we find the subject of our next story. It is a tale for anyone who feels confused, overwhelmed, or unsure if they are on the right path. This is the story of choosing the right boat. A young seeker once traveled to a monastery known for its wise masters. This young man was exhausted. He was not tired from physical labor, but from mental struggle. He had spent years exploring every spiritual tradition he could find. He had studied yoga. He had practiced chanting. He had read the scriptures of the East and the West. He had tried fasting and feasting and silence and prayer. But instead of feeling clear, he felt paralyzed. Each teacher claimed their way was the only way. Each book contradicted the last one. He was drowning in a sea of choices, terrified of making the wrong mistake. He found the old Zen master sitting by the riverbank, watching the water flow. The young man bowed and poured out his heart. "Master," he said, his voice tight with anxiety, "I am lost. There are so many paths. There are so many techniques. How do I know which one is the true path? How can I be sure I am not wasting my time with a false teaching? Please, tell me which method is the best." The master listened quietly. He did not argue. He simply stood up and gestured toward the river. Moored along the wooden docks were many different kinds of boats. There was a small, sleek canoe carved from a single log. There was a heavy, wide barge used for carrying stones. There was a ferry with a colorful sail. There was a simple raft made of bamboo tied together with rope. "Tell me," the master asked, "which of these is the right boat?" The seeker looked at the boats. He looked at the master. "I do not understand," he said. "The right boat for what?" "Exactly," the master smiled. "Without knowing your destination, and without knowing the conditions of the water, how can you say which boat is right?" The master pointed to the canoe. "If you wish to travel fast and alone, that is the right boat. But if you try to carry a heavy load in it, it will sink. That does not make it a bad boat. It just makes it the wrong vessel for that task." He pointed to the heavy barge. "If you wish to carry stone, that is the right boat. But if you wish to race, you will lose. Is the barge better than the canoe? No. They simply serve different needs." The master picked up a small stone and tossed it into the water, watching the ripples spread. "So it is with the paths you study," he said. "The question is not, which path is universally right? The question is, which path carries you across the river? Where are you trying to go? What burdens are you carrying? What is your temperament? Do not worship the boat," the master continued. "The boat is not the destination. The purpose of the boat is simply to get you to the other shore. Once you reach the other side, you leave the boat behind. You do not put the boat on your head and carry it into the forest. That would be foolish. You thank the boat, and you walk on." The young seeker stood on the dock, and for the first time, the knot of anxiety in his chest loosened. He realized he did not have to find the perfect path. He just had to find the boat that floated for him. This story is a gentle permission slip for your tired mind tonight. We often treat sleep and life like a test we are failing. We think there is a right way to do it. I should be sleeping 8 hours. I should be meditating in the lotus position. I should be able to clear my mind instantly. We judge our boat. We think our boat is too small, or too slow, or too ugly. We look at other people's boats and think, they are doing it right. Why am I doing it wrong? But the Master is here to tell you, whatever gets you across the river is the right boat. Tonight, lying here, you are in your boat. Maybe your boat is listening to this story. Maybe your boat is deep breathing. Maybe your boat is just staring at the ceiling and letting your mind wander. Maybe your boat is a soft pillow and a warm blanket. If it supports you, it is the right boat. Do not worry if it is not the perfect meditation. Do not worry if your mind drifts. Do not worry if you are still awake. As long as you are resting, you are crossing the river. And remember the most important lesson: do not carry the boat. Once you find a moment of relaxation, drop the technique. You do not need to keep trying to relax once you are relaxed. Once you drift into the borderland of sleep, let go of the story. Let go of my voice. Let go of the breathing exercise. You do not need the raft once your feet touch the sand of the dream world. Imagine yourself now, stepping into a sturdy, comfortable boat. It is lined with soft cushions. It rocks gently on the water, held by a secure rope. You step in, and you lie down. The boat cradles you. You untie the rope. You are drifting away from the dock of the waking world. You are drifting away from the shore of trying. The current catches you. It is a slow, lazy current. It knows exactly where to go. You do not need to row. You do not need to steer. You do not need to navigate. The river of sleep flows only in one direction, toward the ocean of rest. Feel the gentle motion, rocking you, soothing you, left and right, up and down. The water is lapping against the wood, a rhythmic, hypnotic sound. The shore is getting smaller and smaller. The problems of the day are left back there on the dock. They cannot swim. They cannot follow you. You are safe in your vessel. Whatever you are feeling right now, accept it. That acceptance is your boat. Whatever you are thinking right now, allow it. That allowance is your boat. You are crossing over. The mist is closing in behind you, soft and grey, hiding the world. Ahead of you, the other shore waits. The shore of deep, healing silence. Trust the boat. Trust the river. Trust the journey. You are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. Drifting, floating, crossing. As your boat gently touches the soft sand of the far shore, leave the river behind. You have crossed over. You are walking now on solid ground, moving through a landscape of mist and shadow. We are traveling to the inner sanctum of a Zen dojo, a place of rigorous practice and profound breakthrough. Imagine a room with tatami mats on the floor. The walls are made of paper and wood. The only light comes from the moon filtering through the screens. It is a place of absolute focus, a place where the mind is sharpened like a blade until it cuts through illusion. In this stark and beautiful setting, we meet the great master Hakuin. He was known as a fierce teacher, not because he was angry, but because he loved his students too much to let them stay asleep in their delusions. Tonight's story is about his most famous teaching. It is a riddle, a koan, that is designed to stop the thinking mind in its tracks. It is called the sound of one hand. One day, a young novice monk came to Hakuin. He was eager, he was intelligent. He wanted to understand the secrets of the universe. He sat before the master, waiting for a lecture or a scripture, but Hakuin did not speak. Instead, he held up both hands and clapped them together sharply. Clap. The sound echoed through the quiet room. "You hear that?" Hakuin asked. "That is the sound of two hands. It is the sound of duality. It is the sound of conflict. It is the sound of the world." Then, The master thrust one hand forward, holding it still in the air. "Now," he whispered intensely, "show me the sound of one hand." The young monk was baffled. He stared at the hand. He thought it was a puzzle to be solved with logic. He went away to his corner of the temple to figure it out. He thought, maybe it is a quiet sound. He came back to the master and whispered the sound of the wind in the pines. "No," said Hakuin. "That is the sound of the wind. I want the sound of one hand." The monk went back. He thought, maybe it is the sound of life. He came back and imitated the chirping of a cricket. "No," said Hakuin. "That is the sound of an insect. I want the sound of one hand." For months, the monk struggled. He brought every sound he could think of: the sound of water, the sound of breathing, the sound of a bell. Every time, the master rejected it. The monk was exhausted. His logic was broken. He had run out of answers. He had run out of thinking. And in that state of exhaustion, in that state of, "I don't know," something shifted. He sat in silence. He stopped looking for a sound out there. He stopped trying to create a sound. He simply listened to the silence that existed before sound began. He listened to the vast, empty space that holds everything. He realized that the sound of one hand is not a sound at all. It is the silence. It is the experience of unity. When there is only one, there is nothing to clap against. There is no conflict. There is only being. He returned to Hakuin. He did not say a word. He simply bowed, radiating a deep, unshakable stillness. Hakuin smiled. "You have heard it. This story, my friend, is the ultimate secret to deep sleep. Why are we awake? Because we are clapping with two hands. Our mind is in conflict. One hand is, I want to sleep. The other hand is, I cannot sleep. Clap, clap, clap. The noise keeps us awake. One hand is, I am worried about tomorrow. The other hand is, I want peace. Clap, clap, clap. We live in duality, good and bad, success and failure, awake and asleep. We are constantly banging these opposites together, creating noise in our heads. But the master asks, what is the sound of one hand? Imagine you are lying there, and you simply drop one hand. You stop fighting. You stop trying to bridge the gap between awake and asleep. You just exist. If you are not fighting against the night, there is no noise. If you are not fighting against your thoughts, there is no noise. The sound of one hand is the sound of acceptance. It is the sound of surrender. When you stop resisting, the conflict ends. And when the conflict ends, the silence that rushes in is the sound of one hand. It is the sound of the universe when it is not arguing with itself. Tonight, I invite you to stop clapping. You do not need to defeat insomnia. You do not need to win at sleep. To win implies a battle, and battles are noisy. Just be the one hand, resting, open, still. Listen to the silence in your room right now. It is not an empty silence. It is a full silence. It is alive. It is the sound of potential. It is the sound of peace. Every time a thought comes up to argue with you, imagine it is looking for a second hand to clap against. But you do not give it one. You keep your hand at your side. The thought hits nothing. It makes no sound. It dissolves back into the void. You are entering the state of non-duality. You are not a person trying to sleep. You are just sleep itself. You are just rest itself. The boundary between you and the bed is dissolving. The boundary between you and the night is dissolving. There are no two things anymore. There is only one thing. And that one thing is drifting deep, deep down. Feel the profound relief of not having to engage. You are off the battlefield. You are in the void. It is dark here. It is safe here. It is quiet here. The riddle is solved. The answer is not a word. The answer is this feeling. Heavy limbs, Slow breath, quiet mind. You are hearing it now. The sound of one hand, the sound of peace. Let it wrap around you. Let it fill your ears. Let it lull you into the deepest, most dreamless state you have ever known. No conflict, no noise, just this. As the silence of the one hand expands to fill the universe, we embark on our final journey tonight. We have traveled by river, through forests, across mountains, and into the depths of our own hearts. Now, we climb one last peak to discover the ultimate secret of rest. This is the story of the sacred mountain. It is a story for the seeker in you, the part of you that believes peace is a destination you have to reach, a trophy you have to win. In ancient China, there was a young scholar named Li. He was a brilliant man. He had memorized the scriptures. He had debated with the wisest monks. He knew the names of all 10,000 things. But despite his knowledge, he felt a hollow space in his chest. He felt that he was missing the ultimate truth. He heard whispers of a legendary Zen master who lived as a hermit at the very peak of the sacred mountain. It was said that this master held the final secret of enlightenment. Li decided he must go. He packed his bag, put on his sturdy sandals, and began the climb. It was a grueling journey. The path was steep and rocky. He had to pull himself up over boulders. He had to cross rushing streams on slippery stones. He sweated. He panted. His muscles burned. For 3 days he climbed, his eyes fixed only on the summit, his mind focused only on the prize. Finally, exhausted and dirty, he reached the top. There, sitting outside a simple hut, was the old master. He was looking out over the sea of clouds, drinking a cup of tea. Li collapsed at the master's feet. "Master," he gasped, "I have come. I have climbed the sacred mountain. I have endured the pain. Please, tell me, what is the ultimate truth? What is the secret that makes all suffering end?" The master looked at the young man. He did not look impressed by the climb. He poured a cup of tea and handed it to Li. "Drink," the master said. Li drank. The tea was hot and bitter and wonderful. It warmed his shivering body. "Tell me," the master asked gently, "what did you see on your way up?" Li blinked. I saw rocks, master. I saw steep paths. I saw the sweat dripping from my nose. I saw the mist." "Did you hear anything?" the master asked. "I heard the wind in the pines," Li said. "I heard the call of the mountain hawk. I heard the water rushing over the stones." The master smiled. He gestured to the vast panorama of mountains and sky spreading out before them. "And now that you are here," the master said, "do you see anything different?" Li looked. "No, master. I see the same sky. I see the same clouds. I see the same rocks." The master leaned in close. "The ultimate truth," he whispered, "is that there was nothing to climb for. The secret was not at the top. The secret was in the climbing. It was in the wind you heard. It was in the water you crossed. It is in the taste of this tea. You thought peace was a destination," the master continued. "But peace is the nature of the journey. You missed it on the way up because you were only looking at the top. And now that you are at the top, you are missing it because you are looking for a secret. There is no secret. There is only this. Just this." Li looked down at his empty cup. He looked at the old man's smiling face, and suddenly, the seeking stopped. The engine of wanting that had driven him for years simply turned off. He realized he had arrived, not at the top of a mountain, but at the center of his own life. The wind was the truth. The tea was the truth. The tiredness in his legs was the truth. He lay back on the grass and laughed. And then, he fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. Tonight, my friend, you are Lai. You have been climbing the mountain of the day. You have faced the rocks of challenges. You have crossed the streams of conversation. You have been looking forward to this moment of sleep. You think sleep is the prize at the top of the mountain, but the master is here to tell you, you do not need to climb anymore. You do not need to find the secret switch to turn off your brain. The peace you are looking for is not something that happens after you fall asleep. Peace is this. It is the feeling of the mattress right now. It is the darkness right now. It is the quiet right now. You have arrived. There is nowhere else to go. There is nothing else to achieve. The search is over. Let the seeker in you lie down. Take off the sturdy sandals. Put down the heavy pack. You are on the sacred mountain, but the mountain is your bed, and the clouds are your dreams. As we come to the end of our time together, remember the lessons we have gathered on this journey. We learned to let the empty boat drift past. We learned to taste the strawberry in the face of tigers. We learned to put down the second arrow. We learned that the teacup is already broken, so we can enjoy it now. We learned to polish the mirror of our own minds. We learned to listen for the cricket. All of these stories point to one thing: return to the now. Return to the safety of the present moment. You have done enough today. You are enough. The universe does not require anything more from you tonight. It only asks that you close your eyes and let go. I want you to imagine a warm, golden light surrounding you. It is the light of all the wisdom we have shared. It is a blanket of protection. It wraps around your feet, warm and heavy. It wraps around your legs, soothing the muscles. It wraps around your hips, grounding you. It wraps around your chest, slowing your heart. It wraps around your head, quieting your thoughts. You are glowing with peace. You are sinking into the earth. I will count down now, from 10 to 1. With each number, you will drift deeper and deeper into the ultimate rest that belongs to you. 10. The journey is complete. The mountain is silent. 9. Your body is heavy, so heavy, it is sinking into the mattress. 8. The mind is slowing down. The thoughts are becoming distant clouds. 7. Safe, warm, protected. 6. Letting go of the day. Letting go of the name you call yourself. 5. Drifting, floating. There is no separation between you and the night. 4. Deeper, deeper. The silence is a song. 3. Peace is not a destination. It is here. 2. Sleep is coming. Sleep is here. 1. Rest. Thank you for journeying with Monk's Tales. May you sleep deeply. May you wake refreshed. And may you always remember that the peace you seek is already within you. Good night.